afternoon, my friends. It's great to see you guys. Man, wild day today. First off, before we even get started, I want to thank all of you cupcakes in here who came from Attorney Melanie Little's chat. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed the show yesterday. We'll talk a little bit about that in a second, but just wanted to say thank you guys for being here. Fair warning, disclaimer. Yeah, stealing a page out of JFK show-off's book. I run my channel a lot differently than Melanie Little or Annie Elise or any of these other bigger true crime creators that you guys may follow. And if you're new to this channel, so just letting you know, I won't be upset if you subscribe and then unsubscribe. I won't be mad. Because yeah, I kind of dance to the beat of a different drum here. So but I as much as I love and respect them, like I said, they're my homies, but they do stuff their way and I do things my way. So, but I'm really glad you're here, and I really, 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 truly hope that you guys enjoy it. Now last night went about as fun as I would expect it to. There's just a vibe with Melanie that I've always had, and as you guys also know, there's just a vibe I've always had with the mighty Mark Betterow. That's my homie as well, and getting to hang out with them. Like, the only other time I've ever gotten to do that was during I'm not even sure if I've ever hung out with the two of them at the same time. But I've done these, I've done, I think, 3 of these, what do you call them? Fundraisers for Karen's Defense Fund. And normally when I do them, I go for 12 hours. And I was fortunate enough every time to have, some really great creators join me and hang out with me. And so, having done that, I've managed to I've been blessed with the discovery that I have this really cool dynamic with some really, really cool people on this platform, and for that I'm very grateful. And hanging out with all of you guys, and the different chats mixing and stuff like that is just, it's one of my favorite things about being a YouTuber, if I'm being totally honest. So if you can't tell that I'm grateful that you're here, then I don't know what to tell you. I sometimes spend a little bit too much time expressing it. But Liz88 gifted a membership. That's always amazing. Thank you so much, Liz88. She is and then, of course, this.
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad.
How dare you?
Oh man. Thank you, Gary Kibbe. I think it's Gary Kibbe. So yeah, today was fun. Now, normally what I like to do, like if I do recaps and things like that, I usually I like to do reactions. And I like to hold off and wait, but this trial I've been waiting way too long for, and I've been waiting way too long for, and I can't do that. The only reason I'm not streaming the trial live is because I have an injury, and it's just logistically it seems better. So I think it works out for everybody. I don't like when the only negative that comes with like being so cool with other creators on here is, you know, sometimes we go live at the same time, and you know, I don't want to I don't want to like put my viewers in a position to where they feel like they have to choose who they're gonna like hang out in the chat with and support. I you know what I mean? When it comes to that, my default is always just please just watch the replay. I try to make it as fun for everybody as I can, including the people who are watching on replay, because I'm really just as grateful to them as I am to all of you watching live. And so, you know, yeah, so just seems like it's better off. And you know, I like to pause, and I like to go on rants, and I like to I like to uh you know, add, you know, bells and whistles and stuff like that just for comedy, and I like to just have fun with it. And you know, when you're watching it live, you have to be quiet. People get annoyed when I start to you know, add sound effects and things like that. And you know, so this is just to appease everybody. You already saw what was happening today, most of you, so you're just here pretty much for my review of it. So I'm really grateful that you guys are here to do that. So it just seems more logistically speaking, it seems more sound to just do shorter recaps for me, for you, for everybody. So let's see how this just works out. Now, everybody was like, this Kelly Dever person, or Kelly Dever, whatever the fuck her name is. Kelly Dever. She is a former Canton police officer, now a Boston police officer. And she she was an interesting witness. And I knew she kind of would be, but I kept seeing posts, you know, like there's the justice group, and I was seeing some posts in there, and X, formerly known as Twitter, and posts about like I don't know, what are they thinking by calling her up there, blah 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 blah. I knew exactly what they were thinking when they were calling her up there. In the first place, they were calling her up there because she worked at the Canton PD at the time of Karen Reed's at the time of Karen Reed's arrest, or I'm sorry, at the time of Karen Reed's framing. So I mean, it's quite simple. Brit happens. Thank you so much. Careful with how you pronounce Dever's name. That's right. Yeah, that was funny. Thank you, Brit happens. And a big shout out to all my mods for being here too. Brit happens has an awesome channel as well by the same name. And to my mods, my Scots that kick it in here. I'm really grateful for you guys. I don't tell you guys that enough, but I am. Thank you guys. And so yeah, I mean it's pretty clear. What's up, Pearl? It's good to see you. It's really it's really simple. I mean, if she was there at Canton PD, then I mean, she's a witness. She's a witness for the defense. I mean, there's nothing negative from calling anybody. There's nothing negative from the defense calling anybody from the Canton PD onto the stand to testify here, because we know that that's where the all the grunt work for Karen Reed's framing took place, was in the Sallyport of uh the Canton PD. Now, hold on, let me pull up these the hold on, let me see. All right. Fucker. Hear you. Now this there's this dude here who testified. He was Michael Proctor's friend, and he testified first.
Massachusetts. This court is in session. Please be seated.
So good morning again, counsel. Good morning, Ms. Reed. Good morning, jurors. I hope you had a nice weekend. I do have those questions I need to ask you. Was everyone able
Bro.
to follow my instructions and refrain from discussing this case with anyone since we left on Friday? Yes. Everyone said yes.
Now, it was real shocking to everybody that she approved. I mean, I was surprised. But that she approved the motion to include those text messages. But of course, there's some restrictions. I should probably go back a little further here.
Please be seated. Court is in session.
So, Mr. Alessi, I was told you wanted to see me?
Yes, can I just have a moment with Mr. Brennan? before we-
Okay, sure.
With regard to the lawsuit stuff, you got to know Dr. Russell. We're not going to agree to that. That's what I wanted to see. But
You don't want to agree to.
Now, there's a hot mic. So he said this is in regard to the lawsuit stuff involving Dr. Russell. Say that one more time.
the lawsuit stuff.
Have a moment with Mr. Brennan. before we-
Okay, sure.
With regard to the lawsuit stuff, you got to know Dr. Russell. We're not going to agree to that. That's what I wanted to see. But
You don't want to agree to.
Okay, so it seems as if I had to guess, I don't know. I'm just going based on the hot mic there, but it seems as though Brennan wanted to bring in something in regard to a lawsuit involving Dr. Russell. And Alessi was saying, we're not going to agree to that. Now, whatever that is, I'm not sure. I think I remember hearing something about it. I'm not sure enough to be like, yeah, that's it. You know what I mean? I don't like to do that. So
Brennan, that would have been the subject. Your Honor, I've resolved the matter with Mr. Brennan that would have been the subject of that.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So I appreciate getting the redacted text messages over the weekend. Ms. Gianetti, this is yours, right? So, Mr. Brennan, I'm letting the text messages in over the Commonwealth's objection. I find that they're properly authenticated and that they do go to,
Can I turn this fan off?
yes, can we turn, thank you. So I do find that they're properly authenticated, and I find that they come in as they go to the state of mind of Trooper Proctor.
okay, so here she says they are properly authenticated. She finds that they are properly authenticated, the text messages, and that they go to the state of mind of lead investigator Michael Proctor of the Massachusetts State Trooper as of January 29th, 2022. He is no longer a Massachusetts State Trooper because he was fired for being an absolute, utter shitbag. So nobody gets to call him Trooper Proctor anymore because he's an awful person.
Boo! You suck.
So fuck former Trooper Michael Proctor.
Specifically as that goes to potentially reflecting any bias or omissions in the police investigation. So I'll give a limiting instruction at the time they can come in. I understand that what was still...
Okay, hold on. Wait, what?
Specifically as that state of mind of Trooper Proctor, specifically as that goes to potentially reflecting any bias or omissions in the police investigation. So I'll give a limiting instruction at the time they can come in.
See, right there's the kind of stuff you got to catch with Bev. I'll give a limiting instruction as they come in. Meaning, I'm going to let them in, but I'm going to totally fucking control what comes in. Okay. See, these are the little things you got to catch about Bev, man. She's slick, and I'm just now learning to do this shit. You know what I mean? I'm just now learning to do this. But that slick little shit right there is the stuff you got to catch, because at the end of the day, it's like, all right, she's letting it in, but what is she really going to let in? It still remains to be seen what she's actually going to let in. Okay.
I understand that what was still remaining with disagreement are in orange. So I've got rulings on those. I don't think we need argument. We've heard plenty of argument on this. So regarding the first page with the number.
I don't even know what my man said, right? But it's as if she totally fucking ignored him. Like, I don't even know what my man Bob just said, but he said something, because she was like, well, you know, I'm going to rule on these as they come in, and these things in orange are the things that you guys haven't decided on, that people still have problems with, and I don't think we need to hear argument on them, so I'm just going to move on. And then it sounded like Alessi was like, he could have just been like, yes, we have no problem with that, Your Honor. And then, you know, but I don't know what he said, but she sounded like she just totally blew him the fuck off. And then was like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. I'm just going to I don't give a fuck about your arguments about this. I'm just going to decide what's appropriate, what isn't, as this goes on. Okay.
Numbers, I think we should do it the way I inquired about them last week, with just the last two numbers, not the last four. So those redactions will have to be made. I think the first page with disagreement is on page 02537. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so the first one from Bird saying something stinks, I'm going to allow that in. And then there's a message that you both agree to in yellow. And then for the orange, all I'm going to let in out of that is gotta be, and that's where it ends.
Oh,
So you'll have to
riveting.
redact out the rest of that, Ms. Giannetti.
Gotta be. Yeah. Like, that's obviously a response to something. So if you're going to let in the response, why wouldn't you let in the statement or question that led to that response? There's no context to that, but you're going to let it in. No context whatsoever. Gotta be. Now, maybe the statement or question is in yellow before that thing. Maybe I'm just being a dick. But Bev deserves it. Fuck Bev.
Okay. And the next page, and the only other one was 02539, is that right?
Correct.
So that comes out. All right, that's it. I don't know whose objections they were. Those are my rulings. All right, can we bring the jury in, please? Tony, do you want me to?
All right. Fuck that fan. I mean, the thing is like, this is an ongoing question, right? This is an ongoing question. Like, is Beverly Cannoni corrupt? Now, those of you who have been subscribed to me for a while, been following my coverage of this case for a while, then you guys know what my ultimate opinion on that is. But I'll repeat it for those of you who are new here, to the new members of the class. Judge Beverly Cannoni took an oath to uphold justice and to make decisions in the interest of justice. And I have seen her for the past year and a half do the opposite of that consistently. So now once in a while, she'll do something that appears to be in the interest of justice. But, there's these stipulations like what just happened here. Like here, the thing is, guys, there's no ethical or there's no realm of reality anywhere that I can imagine where it is just to keep the jury from knowing that the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the United States Attorney's Office was investigating Michael Morrissey's Norfolk County District Attorney's Office after the Karen Reed investigation, to the point to where they conducted their own investigation. But they didn't conduct the investigation into John O'Keefe's death. They conducted the investigation into the investigation of John O'Keefe's death. Now, Karen Reed, under the laws of of Massachusetts, under the laws of the Constitution, under everything American, she has the right to a fair trial. She has the right to use the truth to clear her name. Even if she's guilty, she's presumed innocent until proven guilty. So therefore, even if she's guilty, we have to presume that she's innocent until she's convicted. Right? So even if she's guilty, she still has the right for the jury to know that truth. The fact that Beverly Cannoni is keeping the jury from knowing that the FBI conducted an investigation at the I don't want to say request, but the United States Attorney's Office was investigating Michael Morrissey's Norfolk County DA's office, and the FBI were the stormtroopers on the ground conducting the investigation, as was the Department of Justice. This is a fact. This isn't a rumor. This is a fact. And so it has to be unconstitutional. It has to be unconstitutional that Karen Reed's attorneys cannot let the jury know this, because it's vital. There is evidence that has been led into this case from that investigation, but they're not allowed to say that it is from a federal investigation. Make that make sense.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear.
Well, let me finish my thought. So therefore, if Beverly Cannoni is, I don't know if Beverly Cannoni is being paid. I don't know if she's being blackmailed. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if she just simply doesn't like Karen Reed and certain members of her defense team, if not all of them. I don't know what the case is. But when someone is sworn to make decisions in the interest of justice and to uphold justice, and you do not do that, you, on repeated occasions that I've witnessed in the last year and a half, have done something contrary to that consistently over and over again. And just the fact that this case hasn't been dismissed yet, considering the farce that it is. Yes, by definition, Judge Beverly Cannoni is corrupt. That is absolutely my opinion. Now, corrupt, like I said, It doesn't mean she's taking money under the table. I don't know what's going on. All I know is she is not. If her job is corrupted, if her job is to uphold an oath that she took to uphold justice, and she is failing to do that, then her job has been corrupted, and that makes her, by definition and by default, corrupt. That's not disputable. You cannot argue that with me. I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to repeat that if we argue. I'm going to say that over and over and over again, because that's the bottom line.
Garrity, all persons having anything to do before the Honorable Beverly Canoni, the Justice of the Superior Court, holding in Dedham within and for the County of Norfolk. Draw near, give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This court is in session. Please be seated.
So good morning again, counsel. Good morning, Ms. Reed. Good morning, jurors. I hope you had a nice weekend. I do have those questions I need to ask you. Was everyone able to follow my instructions and refrain from discussing this case with anyone since we left our file? Yes. Everyone said yes or nodded affirmatively. Were you also able to follow the instructions and refrain from doing any independent research or investigation into this case? Everyone said yes or nodded affirmatively. Did anyone happen to see, hear, or read anything about this case since we left last week? Everyone said no.
I'm going to speed this shit up too.
Thank you very much. Ms. Gianetti?
Thank you very much, Your Honor. The defense calls Jonathan Diamandis.
Now, this Jonathan Diamandis person is Michael Proctor's buddy. I think he's a cop too. And he was in this text thread, this infamous text thread, where Michael Proctor says some of the most abhorrent things, the most misogynistic shit I've ever heard. Now, those of you who are new to the channel, you will hear me use the cunt word. Some of you know it as the C word. I know it as the cunt word. And I use this word freely because A, I really like it. And B, I don't use it to describe a woman. I don't target women with this word. Now, I will use it on a woman if a woman is being a cunt, but I've seen men be more cunts. So it applies to everyone. Now, what you will never hear me do is do anything even remotely what Michael Proctor does in those text messages about Karen Reed. And the thing that matters most about that, as infuriating as that is, what matters most about it in this case is that he was the lead investigator of the murder of a Boston police officer, or the death of a Boston police officer. And he hated Karen Reed, and he framed Karen Reed, according to the evidence, framed Karen Reed. And these text messages matter because they go to his state of mind, meaning they go to the fact that he hated Karen Reed. He had motive to frame her. He was biased towards her. So this is the purpose of going over these text messages.
You solemnly swear the evidence you give to the court and jury in the case now hearing to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. I do.
Morning.
May I proceed, Your Honor? Yes. Good morning, sir. Would you please state your name and spell your last name?
Jonathan Diamandis, Diamandis.
Sir, do you know former trooper Michael Proctor?
I do.
How do you know him?
We've been friends since middle school,
What's up,
approximately 30
Mizzy?
years.
And in what town?
Canton, Massachusetts.
Did you graduate high school with Michael Proctor?
I did.
When was that?
2000.
How close did you remain in contact with Michael Proctor after high school?
Very close.
Do you have his cell number?
I do.
How often have you texted him over the years?
Frequently.
And when you text him, is that a direct one-to-one or part of a group chat or both?
Both.
Yeah, frequently. We text frequently. And from where do you usually end up texting in these group chats?
Trace the signal.
And I want to direct your attention to one particular group chat that had 9 people on it. Do you know the one I'm referring to?
I do.
And what one is that?
It's one that's been in existence for many years. We've been texting on that text chain for 10 plus years, I would suggest.
Okay. And over those 10 years, the members of that group chat, I'm not asking you for names, but if you could tell me, where are these people from? How do you know them?
We all grew up together and went to school together at some point.
All from Canton?
All from Canton.
And with regard to the 9 people on that group chat, you're one of them?
Correct.
And whether or not Michael Proctor is on that group chat with the rest of your high school friends as well?
He is, yes.
What's up,
Can I have
Olivia?
the exhibit that was marked for identification, please? I apologize, I don't recall the triple letter. Would have been the last one from Friday.
This dude is in a group chat with a bunch of dudes for like 10 years, bro.
Gay!
Triple N as in Nancy. And Your Honor, may I approach the witness for the purpose of handling
Yes.
this? And I've handed you what has been marked triple N for identification. Do you recognize that, sir?
I do.
Have you seen that before?
Yes, I was shown it last Friday.
And what do you recognize it to be?
A portion of our text chain.
Okay. And when you say a portion, it's a limited time period within a much longer text chain. Is that fair to say?
That's correct.
And with regard to how you're able to recognize it, I'd like to just ask you a few questions. First of all, on the first page of that document, do you see a series of phone numbers?
I do.
And do you recognize your phone number on that text chain?
Yes.
Dude, you know this dude's fucking phone is loaded with bathroom selfies, dog. You know this dude's phone is just fucking like packed with pictures of dude like just fucking like flexing his abs and shit. Like you know it. That dude right there waxes. I'm fucking telling you. I'm telling you.
And having reviewed that text chain on Friday, did you see that you had actually sent one text of the whole body of text that's included
Dude,
in what has been marked triple N for identification?
He's doing duck lips right fucking now, bro. He doesn't even have his phone out, dude, and he's doing fucking duck lips, guy.
Yes.
In order to send that text message as of late January, early February of 2022, did your phone have a passcode on it?
Yes.
Have you had that for several years?
Yes.
In order to send a text chain, do you have to enter the passcode to your phone first to unlock it?
Correct.
And so it would have been you who sent that message.
Yes.
And having reviewed the content of that text chain, we were able to identify which entries were typed and sent by Michael Proctor.
Yes.
Who is he on that text chain?
He's listed as local user.
Okay, and it says local user, and there's a bunch of letters and numbers after that.
Correct.
Everybody else is identified by a phone number.
Yes, or a nickname.
And actually, even
James Franco is this guy's imaginary friend, bro. Like, y'all remember the movie True Romance? Great movie, right? And you remember how Clarence's imaginary friend was Elvis? Like, this dude's imaginary friend is James Franco, dude. James Franco's just like, what's up, dude? Just smiling and shit. You got this, dude. Just standing in the background every time like he's on a date. Dude, if you don't make your move right now, dude, you're so gay. Like, you're gay for me, dude. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it, dude. Shut up, man. Shut up, James Franco. Stop talking to me.
even the ones with a nickname have a phone number, correct?
Correct, yes.
So 3 of them have nicknames, correct?
Yeah, I see 2 on the first page here.
Do you see?
Third on the bottom. Yes, I see 3.
So you see
Yeah,
3 there.
yes, yes.
And so of the 9, we have 3 nicknames with phone numbers, right?
Mhm. Yes.
Shit.
We have 8 phone numbers total, right?
Yes.
And 1 local user.
Correct.
And you've testified the local user is Michael Proctor.
Correct.
And having known Michael Proctor for as long as you have, does he have any nicknames?
He does.
And what are his nicknames?
Chip and Bear.
Chip, C-H-I-P?
Yes.
And Bear, B-E-A-R?
Correct.
My man's on a text thread with homies named Chip and Bear. Let's see what Bear's doing tonight. Did you talk to Chip yet? No, man. I'm waiting to see what Bear says. Hold on. I don't want to go out dancing. Dude, I'm sick of that shit. I can't with these motherfuckers, bro. I can't even fucking relate, dude.
And having reviewed that text chain, is that a true and accurate documenting the texts that were sent in that chain for the time period that is listed on Triple N for identification?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would offer that subject to our discussions outside the presence of the jury.
Get real,
May I
dude.
take it back from the witness?
Yes.
Dude, that is, come on, man. Like, I'm not fucking, like, I'm a little crazy, but I'm not so crazy as to, like, overlook the fact that dude, that is a massive homosexual undertone right there, dude. Like, that is so Top Gun gay. You know how nobody was, like, outright gay in Top Gun? You know what I mean? But, like, the movie was super fucking gay, dude. Like, that is super fucking gay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just funny. That's all I'm saying is it's really funny. Tell me it's not. Tell me it's not fucking funny that homeboy here looks the way he does and is on a fucking 10-year text thread with dudes named Chip and Bear, bro. Stop. Like that is so homoerotic. Stop it right now. Dude, you remember how Top Gun was, dude? Dude, Top Gun, watch it now from that perspective. If you've never noticed how gay the movie Top Gun is, okay? Watch it now. And I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that shit. Dude, I have the movie Top Gun practically fucking memorized. I watched it a million times. I was like 13 years old. I'm telling you, though, it's so gay. Like, if you watch the movie Top Gun, right? It starts off, have the sound on alone and don't look at what's happening at the very beginning. Fucking dude, straight up. Look. Watch. Easy, Cougar. Easy, Cougar. Easy, Cougar. Just a walk in the park, buddy. Just gonna slide it right on in there. Come on, Cougar. Easy, buddy. Easy, buddy. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. It goes on and on. The whole movie, it goes on and on with that kind of shit. The list is long but distinguished. Yeah, so's my Johnson. Dude, homies that are sitting there, they're supposed to be paying attention to Viper, bro. They're supposed to be paying attention to Tom Skerritt. He's teaching the class, and this dude is sitting there with his arm over here. The guy's right here on his arm, and he goes, I'm getting hard on. And then the other guy goes, don't tease me. Dude, it's the gayest fucking movie ever. It's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying that it's fucking gay. 10 dudes in a 10-year text thread calling each other Chip and Bear. That shit is so kind of fucking gay. I'm just saying.
Is there 200 done?
Thank you.
Dude, I grew up in Miami, dude. My gaydar is on point.
Thank you.
I'm trying to tell you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Have we met before?
On Friday, I saw you. We didn't meet.
You had been friends with Mr. Proctor for about 30 years?
Yes,
Are you still friends with him?
I am.
Are you still close with him?
I would bet all of you money that Jimmy, Auntie Deb, would validate every fucking word I'm saying right now. Guaranteed.
Am.
You were on a text chain with Mr. Proctor over the years?
Correct.
Did that include other friends of yours and Mr. Proctor's?
Did.
The extent of that text chain, did it go back many, many years?
Yes.
Have you ever looked at any records that summarize some of that text chain?
Yes.
Did it note that there were over 38,000 texts in that group?
I did notice the number, but it sounds accurate.
When there is conversations in that group, do you always respond to the conversation?
No.
there's a particular section or segment of those 38,707 text messages that were shown to you. Did you see that document?
I did.
Are you familiar with it now that you've seen it?
Now that I've seen it, yes.
In that document, are there inappropriate comments that your friend Michael Proctor made about one of his investigations?
There are.
Was it about this case here?
It was.
Oh, we're
In
gonna
those
get
inappropriate
there.
comments, did other people on that text chain, not you?
Thank you, Tim Blanche. Thank you. We're gonna get there. I promise, buddy. We're gonna get there.
Comment or respond to Mr. Proctor?
Yes.
In that text chain where Mr. Proctor made inappropriate comments, you did not respond to any of those inappropriate comments, did you?
Correct.
You're on the text chain at a point later on in conversations, but not relevant to the inappropriate comments.
Correct.
Did you know that Mr. Proctor was fired by the Massachusetts State Police because of his inappropriate comments?
Objection.
And lest we forget, folks, that the content in question of this text thread amongst these heterosexual men is hatred for a woman. It's like they're showing how much they hate women. You know what I mean? Like, nobody talks to women like that who respects them. Nobody talks about women like that amongst dudes. You'll never see me fucking talking like that. You'll never find a text thread of me talking about a woman like that. Ever. Ever. Like, so that this is a hatred for women, dude. It doesn't get any gayer than that, dude. It just doesn't. Just saying. It doesn't. Yeah, he's the innocent one. Yeah, because he was so fucking appalled. Oh, look, there's.
Sir, do you know if Mr. Proctor was fired from the Massachusetts State Police?
I do.
Did he tell you why?
It was in connection to this case. I believe it was based on his text messages that were sent to us.
Based on these comments that are in exhibit?
Correct.
Did you at any time ever defend or endorse these comments?
I did not.
Did you ever encourage him in his comments?
I did not.
May I approach?
Yes.
I'm handing you exhibit 209.
Thank you.
Dude, even the commanding officer in Top Gun, dude.
On the first page, ending in the number's 27. There's a full number, but I'll just.
The man was like, I want some butt. That's twice. I want some butt. Like, dude.
The last two numbers, bottom right, 27. Is there a number of redacted phone numbers?
I'm sorry, on the first page on the bottom of the page?
If you look to the bottom right of the page, there's a number on it?
Oh, yes, and then it's blacked out next to it?
Yes.
Yes.
The last two numbers, is it 27?
Yes, it is.
When you look at that first page, does it have a number of redacted phone?
I'm really glad you asked that, Britt Happens. Thank you. Not judging for having representation, but why the fuck does he need his attorney to read someone else's text that he supposedly didn't have much part in? I think you answered your own question. I mean, I honestly, considering the content of what took place here on the stand, there's no reason to think there's anything more suspicious other than he is the kind of dickhead that fucking enjoys being in text threads like that, and he's lying about it because he acted like he was so appalled by it. But you know, there's no text where he's like, "Hey, dude, that's not cool," you know, nothing like that. But I think it really just boils down, honestly, but based on the content of the text messages and his involvement in the text messages, honestly, I think that it's just simply him having representation because he has the means, he understands how the law works, and he's not stupid. I would absolutely do the same thing.
And phone numbers of different people?
I don't see anything redacted.
The top box, are there numbers?
There are numbers, yes.
Are they partially blacked out?
No, the display names, it just lists phone numbers.
Okay. Are those numbers you recognize as a group of friends, including Michael Proctor?
They are.
As you read down that first box and go down to number of messages, do you see that?
Oh, yes.
Is it 38,707?
Yes.
Is that for a time period between October 18, 2021 and August 31st, 2022?
Yes.
I'd like you to look at the third text message that begins with Chip. Without saying who it is, do you recognize that as one of the people in the group?
I do.
And what did the person write?
Chip, name of that BPD cop.
And at the time this conversation was happening, were you part of this immediate conversation?
I was not.
Turn the page. Bottom right number is ending in 28. Do you see that page?
Yes.
Okay. Instead of a name, there's a local user with an ID. Is that Mr. Proctor's?
Yes, it is.
And does he respond to Chip, name of that BPD cop?
He does.
What does he say?
John O'Keefe.
What is the next question from somebody in the group?
How old?
And what does Mr. Proctor respond?
He took custody of his sister's kids.
The next one?
She died of cancer and the father over.
Now you see what Brennan's doing here. This is desperation at its finest. So Brennan, what he's doing right here, he's making sure that the buddy who's so fucking appalled by the disgusting text messages written about a woman, how dare he? He wants to make sure that this guy, or rather the jury hears this guy talk about how they were such nice guys and acknowledging the fact that John O'Keefe was such a good person and took in his niece and nephew and, you know, out of the kindness of his heart and blah, blah, blah. And that this is the reason why Michael Proctor took this so personally. That's just bullshit. Mob goon defense attorney bullshit is what that is. In a prosecution.
Overdosed on her grave.
And then one of the group sends a message. What do they say?
Oh man, that's rough.
Now that's the first time I've ever heard that. I've never heard the whole mom or dad overdosing on the mom's grave. I don't know anything about that. I don't even know if that's true. But it's just, you got to take it like the same thing as the jury, man. You got to take it as just not fact, but the contents of the text messages. That's all they are.
And what's Mr. Proctor's response?
Mid-40s.
Does somebody in the group then post a Facebook posting?
Yes.
Do you know what that's about?
I do not.
Turn the page ending bottom right 29.
Yes.
Somebody in the group ask another question?
Yes.
What do they say?
What's that? Don't have the book anymore.
If you could just speak up just a little so it's hard to hear with the fan on, not your
Sure.
phone.
What's that? Don't have the book anymore.
How does Mr. Proctor respond?
This one is a nightmare. Forget about the kids. That's awful.
And then I'd like you to go down to Mr. Proctor's next comment.
But all the powers that be want answer ASAP.
Yeah, you guys got to understand. I understand. Okay, just so you don't have to keep blasting me with it. You're not the first person to tell me about that. I'm aware of it. It's just a very tedious process. I don't know why she was blocked. And let me just say something real quick. I want to say I really, 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 really appreciate all my mods. I do. But I understand that accidents happen. So I'm not accusing anybody of anything. But I want to make sure I understand that there are personal things going on between people that I have nothing to do with. And if I give you a wrench and you misuse it and use it to like retaliate for something not channel related, that is something personal between you and somebody else that happens to be in the chat, that's a misuse of the wrench and I can't have that. So please don't do that. I'm really proud of my judgment when I give wrenches out. I'm not saying anybody has done that. I'm just giving a warning. So it's said, and it's not even really much of a warning. It's more of a request. Please just don't misuse the wrench. Because I'm really grateful that everyone seems to have been doing great with them, more than I could ever expect. And I'm really grateful to everybody who does have a wrench and everything. So I just want to be clear about that. But I understand that accidents happen, but please be careful because you might, try not to keep your phone open and stick it in your pocket if you have a wrench, because you could butt hide somebody. It does happen. I have seen it happen many times. I've done it myself in my rookie days. So just try to be careful about that, because it's really tedious to go through the blocked list and find a name. The process of that, if you're a creator, then it's a really tedious process, and I'd rather not go through it. And so I will do that for Mary B. I will. I know who Mary B is. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. But and again, I don't have any reason to believe that she was hidden on purpose for any reason. You know, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Let's just be mindful. And try to be careful. And you know, like I said, I'm really proud of my judgment when it comes to passing out wrenches. So I want to continue to be proud of it. That's all.
What does one of the group respond with?
Gotcha.
Mr. Proctor?
Couldn't open it either.
Do you know what he was talking about when he said he couldn't open it?
I'm guessing the Facebook link.
I'd like you to turn forward to bottom right, 3-1. Do you see what that is?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
John O'Keefe's Facebook page.
What does it tell us about John O'Keefe?
He went to Braintree High School, studied criminal justice at Northeastern, joined Facebook in 2008.
Turn the page, please. The first line from Bird, and I'll note this is January 29, 2022 at 10:56:39 p.m. Did I read that accurately?
Yes.
And what does the person say?
I'm sure the owner of the house will receive some shit.
And could you read Mr. Proctor's 2 responses?
Nope. Homeowner is a Boston cop too.
Turn to the next page, ending on 33. This is January 29, 2022 at 10:57:21 p.m. Could you read Mr. Proctor's 2 comments?
So this is you guys got to think chess, not checkers, right? This is Proctor's game here. See, Proctor's the one having him read off these text messages right now. And why is that? Why is that? Because this guy's sitting there acting like, oh, God, I can't believe I got to be the one to do this. And Brennan's the one going, yeah, read this one, read this one, read this one, right? And what that's doing is it's manipulating, or it's an attempt to manipulate the jury into thinking, why is it Proctor sitting up there reading these text messages? That's Brennan's goal. Clearly, right here. It's a slick move. It's a slick move.
Comments?
She waffled him. I looked at his body at the hospital.
And one of the group asks a question.
She waffled him in quotation marks.
And how does he respond?
He was banged up.
Somebody in the group asks another question. What do they ask?
I thought he was drunk. Did he get beat up?
And Mr. Proctor's response?
Nope.
Turn to the next page.
All right. So she waffled him. Now, I'm not going to hold that so much against. I mean, is it unprofessional? Yeah. I mean, do you expect cops to talk in legal technical terms at all times when they're speaking to their buddies? No. You know what I mean? But, you know, when you put it next to the other texts, you're just like, man, that's kind of shitty to word it like that. She waffled him and he was banged up, you know? But it's interesting because this dude, Proctor, at this point, doesn't even really know anything yet. He's just making assumptions. Nope, he's a Boston cop too.
Page ending in 34. This is at around 10:58:06 p.m., running through 10:59 p.m. Another question from the group. What did they ask?
So the owner of the house was a woman cop that beat him?
And Mr. Proctor's 2 responses?
That's what I initially thought after talking to Canton paramedic. Then I saw the guy.
One of the group asks further down, what does... Sir, if you could either speak much louder or bring the microphone closer. We have a couple fans back here. It's just difficult to hear.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's not your fault. If we can keep our voice up. So one of the group asks, what does, quote, she waffled him, quote, end quote, mean? And then asks, what's the story? Does Mr. Proctor return?
He does.
What does he say?
She hit him with her car.
Turn to the next page, please, ending in 3-5. And these texts are from 10:59:13 p.m. to 11:08 p.m. A person by the name of Bird asks a question. What does he ask? What does he say?
Okay, that's fucked up.
Bro.
How does Mr. Proctor respond?
Intentional or not?
And somebody in the group again?
Gotcha. He was frozen.
Bro, come on, dude. Bert, Chip, and Bear, bro. Like, what the fuck is going on, dude?
In the driveway and she didn't see him.
Mr. Proctor, 2 responses.
That's another animal we won't be able to prove.
And the next one?
They arrived at the house together, got into an argument. She was driving and left.
What does the friend say?
What's the name of the Canton cop living in Canton? The other one involved.
What does Mr. Proctor say?
Biffed him.
Turn to the next page, ending in 36. These run from January 29, 2022, 11 p.m. and 11 seconds to January 29, 2022, 11 p.m., 39 seconds.
That's a stretch. I think they're just on the down low. You know what I mean? Like, at best, you know, I think that's the case. They're just on the down low, petty paralegal. You remember that Ice-T episode of SVU? It's one of my favorite episodes, if not my favorite episode. It's fucking hilarious. Like, there's this like football player. He's like a former football player. And it turns out like somebody ends up dead. And of course, there's like signs of sexual assault. And there's a group of dudes who hang out together. And then Ice-T, Detective Finn, he gets to the bottom of it and figures it out. And like they're sitting there. It's funny because you're watching all Benson, Stabler, they're all standing around like scratching their heads going, I don't understand what's going on here. And they're sitting in the whole war room type deal. And Finn's sitting at his desk. And he's like, oh, they on the down low. Everybody just looked at him like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, homosexual men doing homosexual stuff, but they don't let nobody know that they're homosexual. Don't look at me. I just know stuff, right? Then he goes and he confronts the guy and he goes and Finn goes, because at that point, everybody's just like, all right, man, since you know so fucking much, you go talk to the guy, right? So they send his ass to go talk to this former football player. And he's like, you on the down low. The guy's like, on the what? He's like, you on the down low, right? And he's like, I'm telling you, it's the funniest shit ever. And he's like, and then he's like, listen, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, I love women. I have relationships with women, but I have sex with men. And then he goes, well, I got news for you, dude. That means you're gay. Dude, I love DVR so much, dude, because like I'm like rewind. This is the funniest shit ever. That's what's, dude, this is totally giving me down low vibes. Like none of them like want to admit it. Like, dude, you know, like Boondock Saints, Willem Dafoe's like in bed with this dude, and the dude's like start cuddling with him and shit. And he's on the phone and he's like smacking him on the head, like, yo, what are you doing, dude? And then the guy's like, I just wanted to cuddle. And then he's like, cuddle? What a fag, right? Like, that's these guys. These guys like hating on gay people, but you know, sending each other fucking bathroom selfies and shit. You know what I mean? Like, totally those guys. Totally. Like, I know this type so much, dude. You see him in every fucking movie, bro. You see him in every single one. This is fucking, these guys are fucking Cobra Kai from the first fucking Karate Kid, dude. You know what I mean? Dressing up the same way on Halloween and shit. Like, that's how they were in high school. You know that shit. You know those guys were like that. But furries, that's a stretch, petty paralegal. That's a stretch.
The first comment by somebody in the group.
The BPD have any jurisdiction here because it was their own?
And then if you could look where there's a comment from Whitey at 11 p.m., 27 seconds.
Liz has got the blueprint.
Liz has got the blueprint. Do you know who Liz is?
No.
Okay. And what's the next comment by Mr. Proctor?
Bro,
Not have.
stop
It's the
it
total
right
opposite.
now,
They have to
dude.
rescue themselves.
This guy doesn't know who Liz is. He doesn't know because, as I understand it, homie was the best man at the wedding, at at Michael and Elizabeth Proctor's wedding. He doesn't know who Liz is. Get the fuck out of my face, Brad Blankenship. Thank you. I felt like Hank having him read these was more about getting at them out there before the defense can, so they look like no big deal. Yeah, I agree with you, but more so the purpose of getting in front of them. The purpose of getting in front of them is so that he can paint this guy to be in an innocent light and make the defense look like shit for calling him up there. Like, if he gets in front of him, if Brennan uses this,
Recuse themselves, excuse me.
my bad. If Brennan uses this guy to get in front of these things, right, then the purpose of doing that, the effect that they're looking for, is to have the jury go, well, why aren't we hearing this from Proctor? Why did the defense call this guy and not Proctor? We keep hearing Proctor. They've been trying to bring Proctor's name into this whole time. The prosecution's been trying to hide it. So now if he gets in front of it, then yeah, no big deal. Sure. But what I'm saying is it makes it look like it's no big deal if he's the one doing it, right? Because why didn't they call Proctor up? That's what Brennan's looking for, is for the jury to ask, why didn't they have the horse's mouth up here on the stand to answer for this shit? At least that's what I think.
Excuse me?
Recuse themselves?
Yes.
And then a comment by somebody in the group?
Laughed at. Liz has got the blueprint.
On the next page, Mr. Proctor's comment?
Same with Canton.
At January 29, 2022, 11:02 p.m. and 15 seconds, there's a comment from one person in the group, number ending in 5051. Could you read that?
But I assume you guys are out to make it cut and dry since it involves cops.
Next comment by Bird.
Something stinks.
And the comment by Mr. Proctor.
Yeah, but there will be some serious charges brought on the girl.
And the beginning of the next sentence has got to be, and finally, the last comment on that page.
She hot at least.
That's a question mark.
Okay,
Yes.
so there it is.
Turn the page, please. Ending in 38. These messages begin at 11:05, 57 p.m., run through 11:06, 39
Yeah,
p.m.
look,
on
he's
January 23. That's a question.
he's
Finally,
so
the last comment on that page.
he's so appalled. Look,
She hot at least.
That's a question mark.
Yes.
he's so appalled.
Turn the page, please.
I mean, look how he rolls his eyes right here. Look, watch. He's so disgusted and appalled by these text messages. Oh my God. But you were in the fucking group thread, bro. You're this guy's best friend, bro. Stop. Like, can you imagine the conversations that go on between the two of them? This is the guy that Michael Proctor, this is the male counterpart that Michael Proctor feels the most comfortable around. The guy he tells his utmost secrets to, that he would tell anybody more other than himself. Something that he has to share with somebody else. This is the guy he trusts with that information about his personality, his life, anything. Right? But this guy is so disgusted. Like, this isn't the Michael Proctor I know. Get the fuck out of my face, dude. Nobody buys that shit. Everybody here has had a best friend. At least I hope so. But everybody here has had somebody that they feel that they could trust with anything. And they could be themselves. You watch the guy grow up. Stop it, dude. Nobody believes that you're so disgusted over these text messages. Did you say anything in the text messages? You're surely his best friend. As his best friend, you could have interjected and been like, yo, come on, Michael. That's not cool. Come on, Chip. That's not cool. What are you doing, man? But that doesn't happen. That never happened. But now, since he's so fucking inconvenienced to have to sit on the stand and read them, now he's disgusted and appalled. Okay, dude.
Turn the page, please. ending in
Oh
38.
God, no.
These messages begin at 11:05, 57
Oh, the
p.m., run
horror.
through 11:06, 39 p.m. on January 29, 2022. Does it begin with comments from Mr. Proctor?
It does.
Could you read all of them, please?
These are not my words. I'm not really comfortable reading these. Do I have to
Wow.
say?
You're laying it on a little thick, Franco wannabe. You're laying it on a little thick, dude. Stop it. I didn't say this stuff. Do I have to read this out loud? They're so disgusting. They make my stomach turn, frankly. I mean, there's women in here. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Yeah, dude. You were part of that shit. Suck it up. Like, you're just gonna have to eat that dick. That big old fat embarrassment, humiliation dick. All over national television, Fox News, all the local news stations, all over the goddamn internet, 20,000 people on Melanie's channel, another 1,000, God knows how many people on Defense Diaries, 1,000 right here on my channel. I mean, homie, like, that's just YouTube. Shit. YouTube and TV. You're just going to have to eat that big fat dick, dude.
Say these words out loud.
So I'm going to see you at sidebar.
Do I have to? Do I have to? Fuck out of here, dude. Nobody feels sorry for you. Like, if he just took it like a man, bro, you know what I mean? I would actually probably be defending the guy. I mean, I wouldn't be sitting here saying he shouldn't be up there, but I would be like, man, that sucks for him. You know what I mean? Like, his fucking best friend's a dipshit, you know? That sucks. But that's not the case here. He's sitting here acting like he's Mr. Innocent and like he has no idea. Oh, jeez. Dude, that's your friend since high school, homie. That's a 10-year text thread, dude. 10 years of a group text thread. And you're going to tell me that's the only misogynistic shit on there? And you're so shocked and surprised? Fuck out of my face with that, dude. You're not fooling anybody.
With these words, these are not your words, are they?
No, they're not.
You didn't see them at the time?
I did not.
You've never condoned them or adopted them?
No.
In fact, you would denounce these, wouldn't you?
I would.
I don't want you to say words that are not yours.
I would denounce. I denounce them in the name of Jesus. Maris Whitaker, thank you so much. I have a serious question. Why would a juror feel comfortable convicting Karen after the lead detective says will be hard to prove, though? I know I wouldn't. I mean, that's yeah, that's a great point. Excellent point. Thank you, Maris. Appreciate it.
So I'll say the words, and I'm going to ask you if I'm reading accurately. Is that better?
Yes.
Is that a fairer way to do it?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Okay. On January 29, 2022, 11 p.m., 5 minutes, 57 seconds. And this page ends at 11 p.m., 6 minutes, 39 seconds on January 29, 2022, ending in numbers 38. Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
Mr. Proctor says, from all accounts, he didn't do a thing wrong. She's a whack job.
Robin G gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much. Dude, I can only fucking imagine. Like, what kind of fucking shit these guys fucking text about, dude. Yo, man. I use this new lube to jerk off, man. I don't know if I'm going to stick with it. Anybody want the rest of it? Not me, dude. I use moisturizer because when I take dick pics, I want to make sure that at the lighting at a certain angle, there's a certain shine on the shaft. Like, who the fuck knows what these guys talk about, dude? Like, who knows? Like, what is like a metrosexual conversation? I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's fucking ridiculous.
And then uses the C word to describe. Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
He then says, yeah, she's a babe. Weird Fall River accent, though. No ass. Those are the words that he wrote.
Those are the words.
And there's a response at the bottom from one member in the group stating, oh, she's skating.
Yes.
Let's turn the page, ending in 3-9. These begin in January 29, 2022, 11:06 p.m., 55 seconds.
Petty Paralegal gifted 5 memberships as well. Thank you so much.
Is that accurate?
Yes, it is.
Mr. Proctor responds, 0 chance she skated. She's effed. She's fucked.
Wow.
Yes,
Is that what he said?
it is.
And then one person in the group says, no ass bitch. Accurate?
Yes, that's accurate.
Wow.
Mr. Proctor, there's a response, laughed at, quote, no ass bitch.
Yes.
If you could turn to the page that ends in 4-3. You ready?
Yes.
Somebody in the group says, is that chick a smoke? And then the same person follows up with a question mark. Accurate?
Accurate.
Mr.
Megan McGee, thank you so much. I've been following since Turtle Boy broke the story, and I'm excited to go to Dedham tomorrow to support Karen Reed. Right on, Megan. That's awesome. Good for you. Yeah, it's quite an experience.
Proctor responds, E-H.
Yes.
Nutbag, as my chief would say.
Yes.
She's got a leaky balloon knot.
Yes.
Jesus
Leaks
Christ,
poo.
bro.
Yes.
Are those the words of Mr. Proctor?
They are.
Did I read those accurately?
You did.
And then a person in the group says, what are you guzzling on? And this is on, well, let me
Bro,
take a step back.
bro. That's a dude asking another dude what he's guzzling on, dude. That's not, come on.
Well, clear. The comments I just read, those weren't on January 29th. Those were on February 2nd, 2022.
Correct.
And the time is 12:50 p.m.
Hey, dog, what you guzzling on? Nobody talks like that.
12:50 and 5 seconds p.m. begin the
Oh,
page.
yes. Yes. Beginning of the page.
So
Yes.
these are different in time than the ones we read before, the series of text messages.
Correct.
Okay. And then at the bottom, one of the members of the group says, what are you guzzling on?
Correct.
And that's still February 2nd, 2022. And that's at 1:51:33
Oh my
p.m.
God,
Yes.
bro. What
And then if you can turn to page that ends on with numbers 44.
Yes.
And this is on February 2nd, 2022, 1:52:24. Mr. Proctor says, nothing, writing a warrant.
That's accurate.
There are no further text messages?
From Mr. Proctor?
Yes, or anybody in this group that you have as part of this exhibit?
That was not the last comment.
Okay, let me look.
Oh, yeah?
So how did you like that?
Loved it. I want to ride that horse again sometime. Ooh, yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Is there another YouTube video?
There is.
You were not part of any of these conversations with Mr. Proctor,
No,
but you're still friends with him?
I am.
In your conversations with Mr. Proctor, has he ever suggested that he planted evidence in this case or any other case?
No,
In your conversations with Mr. Proctor, has he ever suggested framing a defendant, including this defendant?
absolutely not.
Bro.
In all your conversations with Mr. Proctor, has he ever suggested tampering with
You're a
evidence in
little
this
cunt.
case or in any other case?
No, absolutely not.
And Mr. Proctor was fired?
He was.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Y'all ever see that movie Sonny? Nicolas Cage, James Franco plays a gigolo.
Sir, at the time Michael Proctor was revealing this information on this high school group chat, was this information public?
I have no memory one way or the other.
Wow. Lies.
At the time Michael Proctor was texting these messages to you and your other high school friends, were Ms. Reed's medical
thing? Is there like a Norfolk County underground, down low situation going on?
conditions public? Did you know anything about Ms. Reed's medical conditions?
I didn't know anything about this case at all.
Weird.
Michael Proctor was the one revealing those details about the case to you and anybody on the chat who cared to read them, correct?
Correct.
And you were asked questions about why Michael Proctor was fired, and I believe you answered in a shorthand way for these text messages. Were you aware he was fired for being biased?
I'm not aware of that.
Objection.
So the answer will stand. He's not aware.
Were you aware that he was fired for revealing confidential information about an investigation?
I was not aware of that.
And were you aware that he was also fired?
See, Yannetti, Karen's defense, they don't care whether or not he goes, oh, I was not aware of that. They just want the jury to hear it. They're just planting seeds in the jury. So as long as there's no objection and Bev sustains that objection, that's in. The jury hears that. You know what I mean? Like, they could take the answer. They're supposed to take the answer, obviously, into consideration. But the bottom line is the seeds planted, right? It just is. Now, okay, were you aware? They stated it as fact. Were you aware that he was fired for bias? Were you aware that he was fired for the way he conducted the investigation? Blah, 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 blah. And that is important for the jury to hear.
For conduct unbecoming a state trooper and a lead investigator in this case.
I was not aware of that.
I have no further questions.
That's it. That's all I need you for. You can fuck off now. Now I'm going to fast forward to.
Not a.
I'm going to speed her up a little bit because I'm sure I'm going to rant quite a bit. And I want to keep this one down to 2 hours today. So we got about 30 minutes left.
Access to back on January 29th did show the footage from, or did it show the footage from that one of the other Sallyport garage cameras?
Can you rephrase the question?
Sure, it was a little bit clunky on my part. Did one of the monitors that you looked at, that you had access to at the dispatch area, did it show the video footage or the video feed from the Sallyport garage?
So I already said I don't remember where in dispatch the screen with the cameras was. There was a camera in the Sallyport. So if I'm going to make the assumption, then yes, of course. But now that's an assumption.
I'm not asking you for an assumption, ma'am. I'm asking you.
See, she's sitting here thinking that she could take on Alan Jackson with attitude. That's not how you take on Alan Jackson. I'm not even sure there is a way to do it. But, well, if there's one person that could tell you, it's Linda Kenny Bodden. But this is next level Alan Jackson. This is just next level Alan Jackson. So this is Alan Jackson, who's completely and totally personally invested in this case and on fire. He has put so much into this, and he sees so much injustice. And he knows that this woman sitting on the stand is only being combative because she has something to hide, and she's a liar.
Did one of the feeds, now we're talking about the camera, the other side of the camera is the feed. Do you recall whether or not there was footage that you could see on a monitor in the dispatch area that showed the Sally?
I'm going to go with yes.
Okay. No clarification. How long?
So I don't know what that means. So what do you mean you're going
Yeah,
with yes?
I'm gonna
Answer
go
yes.
with yes. What? Really? What? Really? Today, you got it.
Yes.
Thank you.
There you go.
What time about did you take over the dispatch desk?
I
that
never
morning?
seen any
Yes.
shit like that in my
I'm
life, bro.
Going to go with yes.
I mean, let's just watch this in real time, dude. That's I've never seen that ever happen. What?
I'm going to go with yes.
Okay. No clarification. How long?
So I don't know what that means. So What
Yeah.
do you mean you're going to go with yes? Is your answer yes?
Today, Junior?
Wow. Wow. You got it. Come on. Come
Yes.
on.
Thank you.
Hey, there we go.
What time about did you take over the
Unfucking
dispatch
real.
desk that morning?
Immediately following when the 911 call
Are
came
you
in.
fucking kidding me, lady?
Would have been 6-ish in the morning. Does that sound about right?
Sometime I would say towards the later of my shift, but it was the middle of winter and dark out. So I don't know if it was 4, 5, 6.
Understood. But it was still dark out.
Yes.
Once you took over the dispatch desk, did you stay there even past your normal shift ending to support the investigation that was ongoing?
Not to support the investigation. I was just on overtime.
Okay. So you stayed past your normal end time of your shift that day.
Yes, on overtime.
You stayed into the afternoon, correct?
I believe the shift ended at 3:45 p.m. for the Canton Police.
But you stayed past your ending shift time, correct? I'm sorry, I'll rephrase it. Did you stay past your ending shift time?
For my regular shift, yes, because I was on overtime on the day shift.
Did you observe anything unusual that stood out in your mind that occurred, pardon me, in the Sallyport while you were on that shift?
So we've discussed this.
Now, it's real easy. Let me explain something to you. Because if fucking literally any place that I've ever managed can change someone's time clock, if you can change someone's punch in, punch out time, if I can do that, the Canton Police can do that. If I could do that in literally every place that I've ever managed, you know how many fucking people I've ever dipshits that are like, oh shit, I forgot to clock in. Can you fix my time? And I saw when they came in because it's my job to make sure they come in on time. And then I go in and I change their time so they get paid for the full time. Right? You're going to tell me that there's nobody at the Canton PD that can change someone's punch in, punch out time? I mean, is that unreasonable considering her testimony?
This previously. I can't make that statement on the stand because I've been provided information released by the defense that it was not a memory, that it was a distorted memory. Therefore, I can't state it because at this point it would be a lie.
Okay,
I cannot make that.
Hold on.
Pardon me, in Sallyport while you were on that shift.
So we've discussed this previously. I can't make that statement on the stand because I've been provided information released by the defense that it was not a.
I've been provided information released by the defense. What the fuck does that mean? Meaning that you said something? How can you chalk that up to information provided by the defense? Giving you your own words. Your words were that you saw Higgins and Berkey hanging out in the Sallyport weirdly for a wildly long time. How can that be considered information provided to you by the defense if you fucking said it?
A memory, that it was a distorted memory. Therefore, I can't state it because at this point it would be a lie. I cannot make that statement that you're wanting me to make on the stand because I've advised that that would be a lie.
Ms. Dever, I've never asked you to make a statement one way or the other.
Right. Britt Evans, thank you. Did she stay longer than she said for her OT portion? Why else would she make that initial claim before backpedaling with an alibi? That is her alibi. She's trying to say that she was on the clock. That when she clocked out, it couldn't have been, she was gone. It couldn't have been when she couldn't have seen what she said she saw because she was already off the clock. Right? That's what she's trying to say.
Or the other on the stand. I'm asking you an open-ended question.
Okay,
Did
so
you,
prior to
let
the
me ask
first-
the question. Did you observe something in the Sallyport garage on January 29th, 2022 that you found unusual, stuck out in your mind?
Given factual information that makes it so I know I did not, no.
So the answer is no.
Correct.
Do you remember being interviewed on August 9th, 2023?
I do.
That was by a separate law enforcement agency, correct?
Yes.
2 separate law enforcement agents. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that true? Is that a fact? That when her story changed? Thank you, Petty Paralegal. Is that true? Is that a fact? That's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
And you were advised during the course of that interview on August 29th of something, correct?
Can you rephrase
I'm sorry,
that?
August 9th.
So what was I advised of? Can you rephrase that?
Sure. Were you advised that lying to those officers would be a crime?
So it was a willing conversation. I've spoken with their legal team. Because of the fact I was providing factual information that showed a statement of mine was a false memory, it was not a lie. Therefore, I made it in good faith, and I retracted given information that it could not be accurate.
Ms. Dever, did you understand my question?
Yes, I did. You threatened to charge me with perjury during our phone call prior to the first trial if I did lie on
Okay.
the stand right now. I'm telling
If I didn't lie on the stand right now, you threatened to charge me with perjury if I didn't threaten to lie on the stand right now. So she is already had been rumored to be failing to cooperate. No, this is the craziest testimony I've ever seen, by the way. I didn't think it could be topped. This is the craziest testimony I've ever seen from anybody. So I've never heard anyone say that shit on the stand, except maybe in an episode of some courtroom drama TV show or movie. This is crazy and fucking wild.
I'm telling you, I did not see anything. Factually, I've been provided evidence by a timeline that it is not correct.
Ms. Dever,
Factually, I did not see anything. That's what she's saying. Factually, I did not see anything. That was provided to me by you. And if I don't say it, then you threaten to charge me with perjury. And that's actually the lie. This is what she's trying to pull in front of this jury. Sunny Days, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate it.
my question was this. Were you advised that it was a crime to lie to those law enforcement agents? Yes or no?
No.
They never told you, they never admonished you that it would be a crime to lie to them?
Objection. Sustained. As to form, Mr. Jackson.
Sure. Did they advise you anything? Any consequences of lying to them?
So we had a willing conversation.
Yes or no?
I don't recall.
Okay, there's your answer.
You don't recall if they advised you of anything?
No, because it
As
wasn't.
a trained law enforcement agent.
Go ahead and ask a question, but both of you only one at a time, okay?
As a trained law enforcement officer, are you aware that it's a crime to lie to certain other law enforcement agents?
When you have intent to lie, yes.
Okay. So you knew that when you spoke to these law enforcement officers,
Well,
correct?
that's what
Yes.
a lie is. A lie is telling a lie is intentionally saying a mistruth. That's what a lie is. There's no intentional or unintentional lie. Every lie is intentional. Period. That's what makes it a fucking lie. That's what makes it a lie.
Did you tell these law enforcement officers that you, in fact, saw Brian Higgins and Chief Berkowitz going to the Sallyport with the SUV? May I finish my question?
You can finish this question. Go ahead.
Did you tell those law enforcement agents on August 9th, 2023, that you saw Brian Higgins and Chief Berkowitz go into the Sallyport together and alone with the SUV for a wildly long time?
That was my recollection at the time.
So you did say that?
At the time, that is what I recollected.
Okay.
Okay. So right there, this is very interesting. That's really all you need. The jury heard that. At the time, that's what I recollected. That is a very, very specific memory. That's not, at the time I thought it was green. It could have been blue. That's not that same kind of hazy memory right there. That's a very specific memory. At the time, what I recollected was seeing Brian Higgins and Chief Berkowitz of the Canton Police Department at the time. He's no longer the chief. Helena Rafferty is now the chief. Chief Berkowitz is now dead, so they can't call him to the stand. But Chief Berkowitz just happened by 34 Fairview in the early days of February 2022, just days after the untimely death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe. Chief Berkowitz just happened by 34 Fairview and saw a big piece of taillight. Magic. Off duty, wasn't doing anything, but the chief of the Canton Police Department just happened to be driving by Brian Albert's house, brother of Kevin Albert, detective for the Canton Police Department, just happened to be driving by and saw a piece of Karen Reed's taillight. Right? Okay. And she testifies or tells, she tells an FBI agent in an interview that she saw Brian Higgins and Chief Kenneth Berkowitz inside the Sallyport weirdly for a wildly long time. But now she's saying that was my memory at the time. But now, no, that's not what happened. And we're supposed to just believe her? Thank you, Britt Happens. Appreciate it.
Did you indicate that you noted let me have just a moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
You and I spoke, along with Mr. Unetti and Ms. Little, on a conference call last year sometime. You remember that?
Yes.
Between the time that you were interviewed on August 9th, 2023, and when we spoke sometime in maybe it was April or so of last year, does that sound about right?
Yes.
Did you have any conversation with any other party about your potential involvement in this case?
No.
Did you have a conversation with anybody in the commissioner's office at Boston Police Department?
Not about anything malicious.
I didn't use the word malicious.
What?
Why do you say malicious?
Right.
I had a conversation, but it was my department saying, regardless of what I need to say on the stand, they support me.
You were asked to go to the commissioner's office, correct?
Yes.
How long had you been on the Boston Police Department at the time that you were invited to go up to Commissioner Michael Costa's office?
It had to have been before the first trial. So, and I know it was when the agency released information to outside people.
That's not my question.
Okay, so I don't recall.
Okay. You don't recall how long you had been on the force, generally?
The agency. Liz 88, thank you. She's the ponytail girl in Sallyport. Rubicon's idea makes sense. I still think that was Rafferty, but that doesn't not track.
Trial. So, and I know it was when the agency released information to outside people.
That's not my question.
Released information to outside people. I know it was when the agency released information to outside people. So basically, when the federal TUI report came out just before the first trial, she ends up getting called to her chief of police, to her chief's office, to her commissioner's office, commissioner of the Boston Police office, the Boston Police Department. So she just slipped and entered the agency in there.
Okay, so I don't recall.
Okay. You don't recall how long you had been on the force, generally, at the time that you were called up to the commissioner's office, on the Boston Police Department?
No.
Was it 5 years, 2 years, 2 months? Give me a ballpark.
So I've been on the department for 2 years and 2 months. I would say somewhere in the range of a year.
Okay. Did you find it unusual would you call yourself a rookie back then?
Yes.
Did you find it unusual that a rookie police officer would be called up to the commissioner's office personally to discuss a matter?
It was a reflection of how good of a leader he is. It was not anything that I found unusual, given the fact he is someone who wanted to show support for his officer.
So all of your
That's about the best answer she could have gave to that question. It's bullshit, but it's a great answer.
I'm guessing all of your training class or all of your entry classes, possibly they've all gone up to the commissioner's office as well.
I don't know anyone else who's been in this particular circumstance.
Do you know anybody else who's been called up to the commissioner's office at your level at the Boston Police Department?
Objection.
What's his name?
Do you know of any of your colleagues with your level of experience that have been called up to the commissioner's office for support incidents?
Objection.
That's his name.
Now, when you went up to the commissioner's office, did you respond to his indication he wanted to see you up in his office?
It wasn't a direct line of contact from him.
Okay. Did you respond? Did you ultimately go? That's what I mean by respond. Did you go to his office?
He's my boss, so yes.
Okay. And who else was in that office?
Me, and him, the two of us.
General counsel of the Boston Police Department?
No, it's just me and him.
During the conversation we had last year, did you say that general legal counsel for the Boston Police Department was also there?
Objection.
Not during that conversation.
Objection.
Next question.
Sure. Was there another time that you went to the commissioner's office where general legal counsel was there?
No.
Have you ever met general legal counsel for the Boston Police Department?
Yes.
Was it in the commissioner's office?
No.
When was it?
During my conversation with the agents.
Wow.
You took a lawyer with you to talk to this other law enforcement agency?
I'm going to see you at sidebar on this.
Boom. Again with the agents. So she had her lawyer present when the FBI talked to her. Okay. Now keep in mind, pay attention to Bev here. I'm going to see you at sidebar. Whenever the agents comes on, objection. Sustained. Objection. I'm going to see you at sidebar. Why can't the jury know that the FBI investigated this investigation? It is a fact. It is the truth. Why can't that be a factor in this defense? Dude, I'm not. See, you guys are all celebrating this shit. I'm not there yet. Just because she mentioned it doesn't mean that Bev isn't going to pull some other shit. It happened last trial, did it not? Remember when Ryan Nagel was on the stand and he said the feds, door was open, never came up again. Remember that? Am I the only one? Ryan Nagel sat on the stand and someone asked him when you were questioned, and he was like, questioned which time? The feds? It happened, but it was never brought up again. Trial ended up in a mistrial. So I'm not quick to celebrate with you guys just yet.
May I continue, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Dever, when we left off, I was asking you about the meeting at the commissioner's office. And I want to clear this up. Was general legal counsel in that office or not when you had a meeting with the commissioner, Michael Cox?
No, it was just me and the commissioner.
At some point, did the commissioner say to you that Boston Police Department, insofar as your connection to this case is concerned, Boston Police Department fully supports you?
Yes.
Did he also say, do the right thing?
That's a direct quote, so I can't recollect that he said a direct quote 2 years ago.
A year ago, when you talked to us, the defense, did you tell the defense that when you were called up to the commissioner's office, he told you two things? Commissioner Cox told you, number one, the Boston Police Department supports you, and Officer Deaver, do the right thing.
So he said my name correctly. He said Dever, and
That's my mistake. Let's see. You want me to repeat the question?
So, Mr. Jackson, let's go ahead and answer, please.
yes, and
Boston Police Department supports you to the commissioner's office. He told you two things. Commissioner Cox told you, number one, Boston Police Department supports you, and Officer Deaver, do the right thing.
Officer Deaver, do the right thing. Now look at her face, bro. Look at the contempt on her face, dog.
so he said my name correctly. He said Dever, and
He said my name correctly. He said Dever. Yo, bro, lady. Really? With the semantics? With the semantics. Nobody gives a fuck how you say your name, lady. Nobody gives a fuck.
And
That's my mistake. Let's see, like, you want me to repeat the question?
So, Mr. Jackson, let's go ahead and answer, please.
yes, and he said nothing with the intent of guiding me one way or the
What
other.
his intent was, madam. I asked you what he said to you. What were his words to you?
That he supports me.
And?
Just wanted me to tell the truth up here.
And his words were, do the right thing, right?
I don't recall.
How many other times have you testified in a court of law? During the course of your job?
2 dozen, 3 dozen. And actually testified probably ballpark a dozen times.
In any of those other cases, has Commissioner Michael Cox called you up to his office to discuss your testimony in any of those cases? Yes or no?
Wow.
That's not a yes or a no answer.
Well, yes, it actually is, Mr. Ever.
Question,
So no
dummy.
comments, okay? Just
You understand the question?
The question, yes. The implication,
The question is, in any of those, I'm asking you an open-ended question. In any of those cases, Officer Dever, not including this one, was Commissioner Michael Cox
Beavers.
ordered you up to his office to discuss your testimony?
no.
Thank you.
all right, Mr. Brennan.
Good morning.
Wild,
Morning, sir.
bro.
My name's Hank Brennan. We have never met before.
Correct.
Have you ever spoken to me before?
No.
Here comes the bullshit.
The defense team, Attorney Jackson, asked you some questions this morning.
Yes.
It sounds like you've met them before.
Only by phone call.
How many times have you spoken to Attorney Jackson or anybody on the defense team before today?
Prior to the first trial, it was one phone call where we discussed the case. Outside of that, there may have been one other phone call before the first trial, but it wasn't a discussion of the case. And then prior to this trial, I received a phone call that said, confirm you will be available for one of these days.
Other than confirming you'd be available, was there any discussion before this trial with anybody on the defense?
Not about this case, no.
So the conversation, the substantive conversation was before the past event last year?
Yes, a year and a few months ago.
You worked at the Canton Police Department?
Yes, I did.
You were a police officer?
Yes, I was.
And it sounds like on January 29, 2022, at some point you were asked to attend the desk?
Yes.
The desk is at the front of the police department where you see people coming in and out of the police station?
Yes, there's glass windows.
That night, did you have any difficulty with your memory of the specific things that you saw that night?
I was never on the scene. I never spoke to a witness. I never met a victim. I never spoke with a suspect. This was just a random shift for me 3.5 years ago at a desk that I wasn't asked to recollect for about a year and a half after the occurrences of that night.
Did law enforcement, not the state police or Canton Police, did law enforcement ask you about your memory sometime after that night?
The agents asked me about a year and a half later. It was the August of 2023 meeting. So actually a year and 8 months later was the first time I ever spoke about this case.
When they spoke to you a year and 8 months later, did you suggest or share or tell them that you might have seen Chief Berkowitz and Mr. Higgins in the Sallyport area?
I told them on the day of that I saw that. I didn't make any indications there was anything bad. I just said I saw them. And it was in good faith that I believed I saw that. That was the extent of that comment.
So you had told them you believed you saw Mr. Berkowitz and Mr. Higgins in the Sallyport area that day?
On January 29th during my day shift, yes.
Did you then learn any information that helped you remember
Okay.
ended that day?
So how in the fuck is this? Like, I keep seeing trolls like on X and whatever acting like this was good for the prosecution. How in the fuck is this good for the prosecution when she's saying that at the time where her memory was so fresh? Because she is sitting here going, well, a year and a half later, I'm asked to remember something. But she's like, back then, she remembers that's exactly what happened. And now, years later, she's like, I don't know. I don't know if that's, I mean, but she's adamant about, yes, that was what my memory was. What is her excuse for this? Was it a dream? What's her excuse for having such a vivid memory a year and a half ago? And then all of a sudden now, nope, that memory was bad, but my memory today of that time is good. That makes absolutely no sense. Because she's also using the excuse of time going by and that being, why she doesn't remember something.
So I know my shift ended at 3:45 p.m. So I know that I left then. That wasn't ever one of my questions. The defense released a timeline right prior to the first trial that the vehicle on that day did not arrive in the Sallyport until about an hour and a half after I left, meaning it is not possible that I saw that.
When you saw this information, did you think about your memory?
So when I saw that information, it made it clear to me that
somebody fucking fixed your time clock and made it impossible for you to have seen that. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
there was a distortion of the timeline, and the false memory I created, I provided in good faith, but I retracted immediately, being provided evidence that it was not possible.
Who did you retract it to? Who did you tell?
So I told the defense team prior to the first trial. I also contacted the agents. The agents assured me that good faith.
Not what they said, but what you thought. Not what they said to you.
Did they threaten to put you in jail when you told them about your mistake?
No, I even spoke with the legal team, and they said that I made a comment in good faith. There was absolutely no way that I could be charged with anything of being malicious.
Before we get to the conversation with the defense team, now I wasn't there.
Right. See, she is extremely worried about being charged with perjury. Call me crazy, but I find it a little suspicious, a little suspect that somebody is claiming to tell the truth, but they're worried about being charged with perjury. Know what I mean? Because I feel like the only person that would be worried about being charged with perjury would be the person who's lying on the stand. Right?
That conversation, was I?
No.
Have you ever shared that conversation with me?
I've never shared it with anyone.
Before we get to that, you seem a bit anxious. Are you anxious?
Confused as to why I'm here, but anxious now.
Are you, have you received any negative pushback because of you sharing your memory? Objection.
I'm going to allow that.
No.
Have you received any warranted attention from the public or media?
Not to my knowledge, but I didn't go digging to find it.
You mentioned the media sent you something. What did they say?
Now, I find this interesting because this is the first person to get up there and not whine and bitch about Turtle Boy. Right? Like, this is the first person to get up there and not sit there and make Turtle Boy and give us this whole sob fucking Turtle Boy bad fucking speech. Right? That didn't happen here. But
so I've seen things in the media. No media has ever been directed for me to find it. It's just this case is unavoidable as a local person on the internet who sees things that get shared.
So inevitably, you were contacted by the defense?
Yes, prior to the first trial.
You mentioned that somebody had suggested you be charged with perjury?
Yes.
Who did that?
One of the male members of the defense team.
Why did they say that to you? Objection.
Sustained.
What were you discussing when you were threatened with perjury?
They were essentially telling me what they were looking for me to say on the stand.
What were they looking for you to say?
okay. So now, instead of whining and bitching about Turtle Boy, what she's doing is whining and bitching about the defense and saying that the defense basically bullied her to say something. Which there's no fucking way. There's no way that happened the way that she's saying it happened. We're talking about lawyers who are just too fucking smart. They're going to do that to a cop? No fucking way.
What did you say?
They were looking for me to say that I saw Higgins and Berkowitz in the garage with the car.
Did you share with them that that wasn't an accurate memory?
Yes.
How did they respond?
They became very aggressive, raised their voice.
No, they were looking for you to tell the truth because you spoke to, with your attorney present, FBI agents and made this claim. So therefore, if you try and say now, they could probably prove that you committed perjury. They probably warned you that committing perjury is a crime. Because I don't believe anything happened the way that she's saying it happened. That she sat there on the phone with Jackson and Yannetti, and they were like, you know, if you don't say what we're telling you to say right now, we're going to charge you with perjury. Defense, first of all, the defense can't charge anybody with perjury. The defense can't charge anybody with anything. They can report it. They can request it. But they can't actually charge anybody with fucking anything.
their voices. And the one word that I can very definitely remember is they said that they would charge me with perjury.
What did they want you to say?
They wanted me to say that statement, although I knew at that point it was not an accurate statement given the timeline.
How many times were you threatened with perjury?
At least once during the phone call, but once you say it once, it was enough.
What else happened during that phone call? Tell us the tenor of it.
They yelled at her. Alan Jackson screamed at a potential witness, right? That's what he did. Alan Jackson or David Yannetti even, even better, screamed at her, right? They yelled at her and said, "We're going to charge you with perjury." Because that sounds like something they would do, right? Fucking idiot.
That was essentially the thing I remember most because I understood that was what they wanted me to provide for the trial. I was never called for the first trial. Therefore, I'm not exactly sure what else there is for me to say when the one thing that they wanted on the stand, it is factually not correct and cannot be provided.
When they threatened you to charge with perjury, tell us what your state of mind was.
Here's the thing is they simply didn't focus on Higgins enough in the first trial. That's the bottom line. If I had any criticism towards the defense as far as the first trial goes, it would be that they did not focus on Higgins enough. And the reason why they didn't call her to the stand in the first trial, I would have to guess, is because they were not as focused on Higgins as they probably should have been. Because this goes to show that Higgins was up to something dirty. Now, this is also, here's another reason why they probably didn't focus on Higgins enough, is because the Sallyport footage showing Higgins lied on the stand in the first trial only came out just a couple of months ago. They weren't aware of it. They didn't have enough, I guess they thought, to focus on Higgins. So think about that. They called her to the stand. They called this person to the stand because the Sallyport footage showing Brian Higgins lied on the stand in the first trial just came out. So that's why it was relevant to call her to the stand this time. Make no mistake about that. Now, the jury, for some reason, can't know that either. They can't know, hey, we didn't get this until this time. They can't say this is stuff that's argued in pre-trial, argued without the jury in the room, is they didn't share evidence with us in time. So the jury can't know that stuff. But this is the reason why she was not called, if I had to guess, to the stand in the first trial.
Disappointment that legal counsel would go that route with someone who is, from a factual timeline, saying something is incorrect. There was no retracting based on emotion. It was very clear, given the timeline, it could not be correct.
Now, you work for Boston Police Department?
Yes.
And by the way, when you were with Canton, did you ever talk to anybody about looting or planting evidence or doing anything like that?
No, and this conspiracy theory came out a year and a half later. I was gone.
Dude, you can get, there's got to be, I mean, you can go back. I don't know how many years you can go back, but you can absolutely, it's a report. It's an operations report, right? Like you can go back in there, like somebody like the chief of police can go into, or the commissioner can go into the records, the time clock records of employees, and they can see if times have been changed. Diane G, thank you so much. It's calculated to bring her nonsense back to the stand for Canton PD. Right. Absolutely. And this is, you know, I'm wondering, because they could absolutely do that. I mean, it just depends on how far back those records go. But I know I could type. I mean, I remember I worked at an establishment for 5-6 years. I could go back 2-3 years and check those records. I just had to put a date variance. That's all I had to do. I had to type in a date variance. And if that date variance was the same date at a certain time, I could narrow that down. And as a general manager, you can see when an assistant manager changed someone's time. It'll show you that person's passcode. It'll say time change, and then by this particular manager with this employee number. So I'm sure that a police department would have a system similar to this. Payroll is going to have a system similar to this. So if one were so inclined, they could probably, I don't know, get a subpoena for that. I don't know if it's too late. I don't know if it's even worth doing. I'm just saying it could probably be done. Robin G, thank you so much. Isn't it usually all hands on deck during a blizzard for EMS PD and not leave during one? I mean, I don't know about that. I don't know how that works. I mean, I don't think you can make someone work longer than they're scheduled. They have the option to. I mean, there are labor laws, you know, you can't just make someone work. You give them the option, and if they work a certain amount of hours, you have to pay them overtime past those hours.
Did anybody from Camden ever try to suggest to you should or shouldn't say something to help her side of the case?
No,
Right.
because I was never spoken to until far after I left.
Did you ever see anybody in this case or any time you were with Camden doing something improper and tampering with evidence?
Not in this case or any case.
If you had, would you have reported it?
Yes.
I mean, I've never seen a system where you can delete the edits. So I don't know. Again, but I've never worked at a fucking cop station, dude. I don't know.
Move strike.
I'll strike that, ladies and gentlemen.
So you transferred to the Boston Police Department. Has anybody from the Boston Police Department ever suggested that you should lean your testimony one way or another?
No.
Has anybody from the Boston Police Department given you any rewards or favors for defying the defense position?
No.
Has anybody ever suggested that you should say anything whatsoever that would be unhelpful to the defense?
No.
Has the North County District Attorney's Office ever encouraged you to testify in any way other than the truth?
No.
When you spoke to the chief of the Boston Police Department, did he in any way?
This is fucking lie after lie after lie.
Yes. Or after I left.
Did you ever see?
I mean, just so many lies, lie after lie after lie after lie. It's ridiculous. Watch.
Anybody in this case or any time you were with Camden doing something improper and tampering with evidence?
Not in this case or any case.
If you had, would you have reported it?
Yes.
Sustained.
Move strike.
I'll strike
Lie.
that, ladies and gentlemen.
So you transferred to the Boston Police Department. Has anybody from the Boston Police Department ever suggested that you should lean your testimony one way or another?
No.
Has anybody from the Boston Police Department given you any rewards or favors for defying the defense position?
No.
Has anybody ever suggested that you should say anything whatsoever that would be unhelpful to the defense?
No.
Has the North County District Attorney's Office ever encouraged you to testify in any way other than the truth?
No.
When you spoke to the chief of the Boston Police Department, did he in any way ever tell you to shake your testimony?
Not at all.
When you met with the
Lie.
Boston Police Department Commissioner, did he ever ask you the substance of what your testimony would or wouldn't be under oath?
He made it very clear he did not want to discuss the case at all.
When you spoke to the people at the Boston Police Department, have they ever weighed
Like
in any-
all that money she's making from these lies.
As you're testifying here today, are you under any tension, undue influence, stress, threat?
There is discomfort with the way that there's attempting to guide what my testimony is, but I don't feel any need to fall into it because I'm here to speak the truth on the stand. That's my livelihood.
When you were threatened with perjury, how long was that conversation?
I believe it was just about an hour on the phone. My phone log on my physical phone would not go back far enough for me to be able to retrieve the date or the time that that phone call took place.
That conversation lasted an hour?
Approximately.
How did it end?
Like lie after lie.
Not on a good note in the slightest. I remember it was a pretty hasty hang up on both ends.
Thank you for your time.
May I report briefly?
Yes.
Jackson's gonna rip her.
Yes,
fucking new
there could be a
one.
report of it. So
Correct. A male voice on that phone call, correct, to charge you with perjury?
yes,
You're a police officer, correct?
yes.
Who charges people with crimes?
If a crime is committed, there can be a report of it.
Who
So
charges people with crimes?
It's a real simple question, officer. Who charges people with crimes? Who actually charges people with crimes, dude? It's a real simple question that if I know the answer to, you as a cop better fucking know the answer to. Come on.
In the end, it's going to go through the court system. So the district attorney, the ADAs, that's who pursues it in a court setting.
No. Like either a DA or a cop charges somebody with a crime. Either a representative of the district attorney's office or a police officer, an officer of the law, charges people with a crime.
Setting.
Have you ever seen a defense attorney charge anybody with a crime?
So you can seek out reporting someone for it.
Have you ever seen a defense attorney charge someone with a crime, ma'am?
Personally, no.
Right.
Yeah, duh.
Fact of the matter is, nobody ever threatened you with perjury, did they?
Oh, they did. Yes, I contacted the FBI regarding it.
Oh, did you?
I did.
You have a report?
I have an email conversation.
I contacted the FBI over it. See, this is not what happened. I'm going to break this down as soon as they're done here. Let Jackson get through this one question here.
Where I sent the 2 questions I had. She responded, I will pass these along. I was contacted by their legal team. They reassured me perjury was not applicable because I had.
Let's see a defense attorney charge someone with a crime, ma'am.
Listen.
Personally, no.
Right. Fact of the matter is, nobody ever threatened you with perjury, did they?
Oh, they did. Yes, I contacted the FBI regarding it.
Oh, did you?
I did.
You have a report?
I have an email conversation where I sent the 2 questions I had. She responded, I will pass these along. I was contacted by their legal team. They reassured me perjury was not applicable because I made a statement in good faith. Upon further information, I retracted it, corrected it, and made it clear that I could no longer say it because I knew that it was not a clear reflection of the events that took place.
That's a mouthful.
Yes.
My question is.
That's not what happened. See, she's acting like she contacted the feds to report the defense team for this behavior. That's not what happened. I'm calling 150% fucking bullshit on that. What I think happened was she got scared after that phone call with Alan Jackson and David Yannetti, and then called the feds, who this statement is very, very, it's absolutely applicable here. The feds, it was her statement to the feds that's in question here. So what did she do? She called the feds to find out if she was going to get into any trouble, to find out if she was in the clear, to find out if there was anything she needed to fucking worry about. That's why she contacted the feds, not because she wanted to rat out the defense and report them because they were so fucking unethical. Get the fuck out of my face, lady. That's not what happened. You contacted the feds because they fucking rattled your cage, scared the shit out of you, and then you contacted them to see if you had anything to fucking be scared of. Period. This little song and dance, I see right through it. Stop it.
Question is, do you have a report from the FBI saying that you reported that someone on the Jeremy defense team threatened to charge you, your words, with perjury?
No.
Report to that effect?
No.
No. Your job as a police officer is to be objective, isn't it?
Yes.
You're not supposed to take an adversarial position against one side.
Yeah, she called the feds going, well, I just got off the phone with Karen Reed's defense, and they're saying that since I made a statement to you guys, but I remember, and this is what happened, I remember what happened, the timeline is all wrong. I couldn't have said those things because, and I couldn't have remembered things that way because I wasn't there. I had already left for the day. I had already finished my shift and left. So if I go and sit on the stand and say that, am I perjuring myself? And so the feds are like, well, no, technically, no. I mean, that's how you're saying you remember it. So basically, the feds kind of told her what she could say that isn't perjury. She basically weaseled her way to get that out of the feds when she called them. But she didn't report anything. She called them to find out what kind of trouble she could be facing if she does what she got her salary jacked up for. That's it. She thought this was all over. Now she's got to be here. Because she's been combative since she sat down to testify in the first place. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why I'm here. Pissed off, attitude. We missed that. I didn't even go over that. I skipped past it, not intentionally, but I skipped past that where she's telling Alan Jackson, I don't even want to, he gets to a point where he's like, do you even want to be here? Do you have somewhere else you'd rather be? So she's scared. She's scared of being charged with perjury. The only reason anybody would be scared of being charged with perjury is if they're a fucking liar. And only a fucking liar would tell the feds with their attorney present something that specific, and then later on, right when their fucking salary supposedly triples, then she's got to say something like, oh, well, that was my memory at the time, because it comes off like it's not a lie. That was my memory at the time, but now I realize that couldn't have been the case. That couldn't have been the case, because she lied to the feds. If the feds, that comes off like she lied to the feds. So if the feds, and unintentionally, by the way, but if the feds don't bring charges on her for lying to them, because that's the only crime there, she's basically in the clear. If she sits there on the stand now, she didn't testify in the last trial. She's testifying now. So if she sits here now and goes, well, that was my memory at the time, but as I sit here, I remember that my shift ended and there's no way I could have seen it that way. That is what you call red tape. That's what you call greasing through the threat of perjury. Because we know she's a fucking liar. Like, we know it. There's just no way to prove it as far as charging her with perjury. But what happened here was the jury saw all this. The jury heard it all. That's what really ultimately matters. Gives a fuck if she gets charged with perjury or not. That doesn't fucking matter. The point is that she's a liar. That's the point.
Sallyport, correct?
I don't.
Just right down the middle, just the facts, as you know them, correct?
Yes.
You feel like you're being unbiased in your testimony here today in front of these jurors?
I'm telling the truth.
You think you're being fair to both sides?
All I have to do is tell the truth. If it's not perceived to be fair, that's someone else's opinion.
Let's talk about that truth for a second. What you told those law enforcement agents on August 9th, 2023 was, quote, you recalled seeing Higgins at the station later that day on Saturday. Deborah thought it was also weird that Higgins and Chief Kenny Berkowitz were by themselves in the Sallyport of the police department, by themselves while Karen Reed's car was parked inside. Higgins was a witness and present at the gathering where O'Keefe was found dead outside, and then he was in the presence of important evidence. You were sitting at dispatch by yourself and saw on the camera outside of the Sallyport when they walked in.
Objection to the entire reading.
That's her words, dude. That's her words. But, oh, that couldn't have been the case, though. Looking back on it now, couldn't have been the case. All those specificities, all of those, and they can't be. She couldn't have seen that. Couldn't have taken all of that into consideration. The fact that Brian Higgins is a witness because he was there at the house. Because what this has written all over it is she was trying to win points. She was all fucking She had a big old Fed boner when the feds came to talk to her. She had the opportunity to be a hero because she's a rookie. And she had the opportunity to go, something's wrong here, and I can step up and I can do the right thing. And then old commissioner goes, hey, I've seen this many times in my career. Come on up to my office. Let's have a chat. How would you like to make three times the money you're making right now? And all you got to do, just forget that happened. Just forget it happened. Do the right thing. I mean, it absolutely tracks. It absolutely tracks. Because the way that she's, let's hear Alan Jackson read that one more time.
Kenny Berkowitz were by themselves on August. Truth for a second.
All I have to do is tell the truth. If it's not perceived to be fair, that's someone else's opinion.
Let's talk about that truth for a second. What you told those law enforcement agents on August 9th, 2023 was
what she told the feds on August 9th, 2023, not even 2 years ago.
Quote, you recalled seeing Higgins at the station later that day on Saturday. Dever thought it was also weird that Higgins and Chief Kenny Berkowitz were by themselves in the Sallyport of the police department. By themselves.
She thought it was weird that they were by themselves. These are her words. She thought it was weird that they were by themselves in the Sallyport area. This is her trying to be a hero. This is her trying to help Karen Reed. This is someone talking like they know Karen Reed is innocent and she saw something fucking shady as fuck happen at her job. And she's telling the feds about it with her lawyer present, people.
While Karen Reed's car was parked inside. Higgins was a witness and present at the gathering where O'Keefe was found dead outside. And then
Higgins was, this is a statement to the feds that she made. This means she's perfectly aware of what took place on the early morning hours of January 29th, 2022, or at least what is being talked about, at least what's in the case. She doesn't know who did what. I'm saying she's aware of the case. She's aware of Higgins' role as far as being a witness goes.
And then he was in the presence of important evidence. You were sitting at dispatch by yourself and saw on the camera outside of the Sallyport when they walked in.
Objection to the entire reading.
So it's beyond the scope, so you have to keep it.
There's more to the statement, Your Honor. Do you remember making that statement to the officers?
My recollection of the time was that, so yes.
Okay, great. Did you go on to say, speaking of being truthful, did you go on to say?
My recollection at the time was that, so yes.
Yeah.
All right, so you have to ask differently, but I need to see you for a minute with this and bring that with you, please.
Dude, I don't understand how all those people can just sit there knowing this shit and want Karen Reed convicted.
May I inquire?
Yes.
Thank you. Officer Dever, did you go on to say in that interview, quote, you never saw them leave, them being Brian Higgins and Chief Ken Berkowitz. You never saw them leave, but you recalled thinking to yourself that they were in the Sallyport for a wildly long time together in there, end quote. Did you say that?
That was my recollection of the time.
Okay.
So yes.
Have you ever heard of, by the way, you indicated on.
Not only does that mean that she saw them, she thought it was suspicious. She thought that what she saw was suspicious, dude. And BB2, thank you so much. Bullshit, because mainstream media didn't release the inverted video until Lally showed evidence in June of 2024. Yeah, I mean, not till trial, yeah.
Under questioning by Mr. Brennan, that you knew what they wanted from me, meaning the defense, what they wanted from me.
Yes.
That?
Yes.
You remember on that phone call that we read directly from the exact same report that I just read from? Remember that?
And I told you the same thing then.
That's not
Yes.
my question.
Objection.
Sustained.
My question is, just answer my question, Officer Deaver. Did we read to you when you read the exact same thing that
Officer
I just
Deaver,
read to you
never.
on that phone call?
Like you can't remember my name. I don't remember.
I can remember your name, Miss Deaver.
Okay, so
Like that dug deep with her, man. That dug deep.
I told you the same thing then.
That's not my
Yes.
question.
Objection.
sustained.
My question is, just answer my question, Officer Deaver. Did we read to you, where you read the exact same thing that I just read to you on that phone call?
Like you can't remember.
On that phone call, did I read to you the exact same thing on that phone call? The one where you're saying I threatened to charge you with perjury.
That I just read to you on that phone call.
Like you can't remember my name. I don't remember.
I can remember your name.
See, the jury sees this shit. The jury sees this. The jury just heard that she admitted saying those things to law enforcement agents. Now, I still haven't heard her say the words FBI. I haven't heard that yet. Maybe I missed it. Maybe it's in the beginning of the testimony, but she keeps saying agents. Now, I don't know if the jury picked up on this. I have no idea if the jury picked up on this, but the jury is definitely picking up on the fact that she spoke to law enforcement agents with her attorney present and had this very vivid memory, like she was a superhero. Gigi Love, thank you so much. I appreciate that. This has wannabe hero written all over it. She is ambitious as fuck. Her chief of police or commissioner, whatever you want to call him, smelled that shit on her. You're ambitious as fuck, huh? Okay. How about we just triple your fucking salary? But now she's in bed with him. I mean, we've seen this in the movies a million times. Now she's in bed with him. Now she's got to do whatever the fuck they want her to do. She's got a long, fucked up career ahead of her if she's lucky. If she's lucky, she's got a long, fucked up career. A mess of a career. She's going to end up a fucking alcoholic. Divorced 4 times. I mean, atypical shit. Because now she's in bed with him. Now she's got a daddy.
Your name is Deborah.
Okay, so the answer is I don't remember. No
The answer is
comments.
more than that, Judge. I think we all.
All right, so
I'll
no
ask you a
comments, just questions, please.
Do you recall us telling you that we were looking for the truth about your
Objection.
comments?
I'm going to allow it.
That we were looking for the truth.
Which I gave you, yes.
Did you also say on that phone call something to the effect of, I know you're going to tear me a new one because I'm changing my testimony?
Changing, no. But you're trying to do that.
Did you say, I know you're going to tear me a new one?
That's what you're trying to do, so yes.
Actually, what you said was, you're going to tear me.
No. See, he wouldn't be if you were sitting up there telling the truth. If you just sit there and fucking stick to your original statement, because it boils down to this: either you're lying now or you were lying to the FBI. That's the way the jury's going to perceive this. All of this is just Alan Jackson having fun. She's a ball of yarn, and Alan Jackson is a kitty cat. That's all this shit is. That's all this shit is at this point. The jury knows she's completely full of shit. The jury knows either she lied to the FBI or she's lying on the stand right now. And her only play was to accuse the defense of something completely and totally outrageous. And the only reason that could work is because the prosecution is in the middle of perpetrating something way more outrageous than that. Like 100 times more outrageous than that. So that's why the prosecution thinks that that jury is going to buy that shit. Because they might. Because the defense expects that jury to believe that this prosecution is in cahoots in a cover-up with the Massachusetts State Police and the Canton Police Department. And that's a hard sell. Not with the evidence they have, but it's still a hard sell. Nobody wants to believe that. It took me forever to finally come to terms with that shit. It took me fucking forever. You guys watched it live. It took me forever. I'm not there yet. I mean, it looks bad. Too many coincidences? I don't know. Because I'm not a conspiracy theorist. That's not an easy pill to swallow. But the evidence is the evidence. And I'm more convinced of it now hearing her testimony. I'm even more convinced of it now. Come on, dude. Her salary triples right when she goes up to her commissioner's office. Come on, dude.
Tear me a new asshole, didn't you?
I don't recall that, so that's putting words in my mouth.
I'm not asking you to put words in your mouth.
She's not even a good liar. She's not even a good liar. I totally believe she said that shit. She's just trying. She knows she's in front of the world, and she's like, I can't believe that I fucking said that. But I just know it. I'd be willing to bet that she straight up said those words. You're going to sit here. You're going to tear me a new asshole. Alan Jackson's not just making that shit up. And the way that she, I don't recall that. Bullshit, lady. Bullshit. You're a fucking liar. You're a fucking liar.
That's what you're trying to do, so yes.
Actually, what you said was, you're going to tear me a new asshole, didn't you?
I don't recall that, so that's putting words in my mouth.
I'm not asking you to put words in your mouth. I'm asking you if you remember saying that during that phone call. Oh, I know
recall.
you're going to tear me a new asshole.
I don't recall.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you do remember saying something to the effect of, I know you're going to tear me a new one, right?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever heard of something called the blue wall of silence?
Let me tell you something. There's at least 3 jurors that I can picture in my mind right now that are not buying a fucking thing that this woman is saying right now. At least 3 that I could picture in my mind right now. I'm saying at least. I'm going to say easy 4, as a matter of fact. An easy 4. That are like, this woman is completely and totally full of shit and dirty.
Objection.
Sustained.
Do you think it's important for police officers to protect one another in the field and out?
Objection.
Sustained.
Have you spoken with anyone, not Mr. Brennan, he's covered that. Have you spoken with anyone from the district attorney's office about your involvement in this case? Ever?
No.
Never?
Unless you're going to provide a person. I've never talked to any of these people.
Have you talked to anyone at the DA's office at all, in any regard?
Not to my recollection.
How about indirectly?
Ask Bob, why is it got to be she banged somebody, though? You know what I mean? Like, you got enough evidence, like the money talks. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do we got to go there? That, like, she's banging people and shit. And that's why, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of silly, dude. Come on. Like you have enough evidence that like her salary tripled, right? At the time that she was confronted with the fact that the feds investigation became public knowledge. And then she gets called up to the commissioner's office because she may testify. She gets called up to the commissioner's office because she may testify, and then her salary triples. Why it got to be that she's banging somebody? That's not enough. You know what I mean? Gives a fuck. Who cares? You know what I mean?
Not to my knowledge.
Are you friends with any people that you're aware of that are connected to this case? Are you personal friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, personal friends with anyone that's connected with this case?
Now, this is fun because this is happening on redirect. This isn't an accident. Okay? This is chess. This is Alan Jackson knowing exactly what Brennan was going to do on cross and save this little nugget for redirect after he proved to the jury that she is a fucking liar. Think about that for a second. It's very, very slick. If you're not convinced that Alan Jackson is fucking 5 steps ahead at this point, you're out of your mind. You're blind and you're stupid. Because he brings up this in redirect. He didn't bring it up in direct. He brings it up in redirect. He brings it up after Brennan already crossed her. He brings it up after she tries to play victim and lies. Because now the jury is going, this woman is full of fucking shit.
Other people who's been on the witness stand, one person, yes.
Who's that?
Sarah Levinson.
Boom. Sarah Levinson.
How long have you known Sarah?
Now, if you guys don't know who Sarah Levinson is best buddies with Brian Albert Jr. and was one of the guests, one of the people at Brian Albert Jr.'s birthday party at 34 Fairview the night, January 28th, 2022, and the early morning hours of January 29th, 2022, this party that was taking place at 34 Fairview, where Boston police officer John O'Keefe was last seen alive. So, Sarah Levinson is one of the people at this party, and this is her best friend. After all that we just saw, this is why you got to think about Alan Jackson. Don't, man, people need to chill out with this whole, unless you're a lawyer, unless you're Bettero, you don't get to question what Alan Jackson's doing, bro. You just don't. It's silly. You sound silly. You sound silly. You know what I mean? Like, Bettero's the only person I want to hear question the tactics of this defense team. That's it. And maybe Linda Kenny Bodden. Other than that, everybody just needs to shut up because look at what he's doing. He brings in the Sarah Levinson bombshell in redirect, which only tells you he knew exactly what this was going to be at the time it was going to be. He created this road and led her down it. And it's beautiful.
Sarah.
We became friends in middle school.
Did you watch any of this trial?
Clips in passing, but no, it's 6 hours a day. So I work during the day shift, no.
So you've seen some of the footage of the goings on in this case, correct?
Yes, nothing Nothing with her. I did not watch her testimony.
Were you aware there was a sequestration order?
I don't know what that means, so no.
You're a sworn peace officer. You don't know what
Exactly. That was going to be my next question there, AJ. You're a cop and you don't know what a sequestration order is? Come on.
sequestration means
No.
in terms of witnesses. Not
No.
watching,
Fuck
not
outta here.
watching the proceedings in order to affect their testimony.
Babysitting witnesses that are under sequestration is rookie shit, dude. Tell me you never done that? Get the fuck out of here. You never talked to a colleague, a fellow cop on the force in the locker rooms? Oh, well, I got witness sequestration duty. I got to babysit a bunch of fucking I got to, or I got fucking jury sequestration duty, rather. I got to babysit a bunch of fucking jurors and shit. Witness sequestration is not a thing, excuse me, as far as like babysitting them cops. I meant to say jury. But she knows what sequestration means is the point. And she knows that if she's ever had to testify, this is fucking police. This is what I would hope is in a police academy fucking training process, that there's tests on this. Like, if you're a witness, there's sequestration sometimes. And that means what? Because you're going to have to testify in many, many trials, because that's your fucking job. That's actually one of the biggest parts of your job, is to have to show up to court and testify when you make an arrest. Right? So shouldn't that be basic fucking police academy training? And here she is looking totally fucking clueless. Look at that shit. Look at the look on her face. You're a police officer? You're a sworn peace officer? You don't know what the word sequestration means? The fuck out of here.
No, I wasn't aware.
Wow.
But you did tune in
So
to the case.
No.
let's listen to that one more time, because I'm going to point something out that's very, very telling.
So, no.
You're a sworn peace officer. You don't know what sequestration means
No.
in terms of witnesses. Not
No.
watching the proceedings in order to affect their testimony.
No, I wasn't aware.
That right there is her basically admitting that she's been in contact with Sarah Levinson and talking about this case with her. Because otherwise she would just say, yeah, I'm a sworn peace officer. Yes, I'm fully aware of what the word means. And yes, I would never violate that. She's a friend from my childhood, but I'm a sworn peace officer. I know better. I wouldn't do that. But her playing dumb as to what sequestration means, her playing dumb as to what it means, is extremely telling. It basically says that I didn't know I couldn't do that. That's her play. I didn't know I couldn't do that. Which basically implies she's been doing it. So this woman right here, it's a liar. Amy McCabe, thank you so much. I miss you. Live area 1 hertz. I know that typing is wonky on super chats. I don't know exactly what that means, but thank you. I appreciate it. I could sense the vibe in it.
But you did tune in to the case, correct?
In small clips, yes.
And you did, in fact, on August 9th, 2023, have a fulsome conversation with two sworn police officers about your memory of what you saw, your observations on January 29th, 2022, correct?
I don't know if they're police officers necessarily, but yes.
Law enforcement agents, how about that?
Yes.
And that conversation is reflected in this piece of paper that I just read to you, correct?
Yes.
Thanks. That's all I have.
Okay.
Alan Jackson's amazing, dude.
Were you subpoenaed by the Commonwealth in this case?
No.
You were subpoenaed by the defense.
Yes.
Did they tell you that there was a sequestration order or that you shouldn't watch any of the footage? Did they fairly inform you about what the ground rules were?
No. And I wasn't part of the first trial, so I had no idea about anything to do with this trial.
When you spoke to those law enforcement officers back in 2023, do you know that they made a report where you had informed them that you knew Sarah Levinson and that report had been provided to the defense a long time ago? Did you know that?
Yes, I informed them very clearly.
So the question about if you know Sarah Levinson, that's no secret in your world, is it?
In that form, I'll sustain it.
That isn't a secret, is it?
Not at all.
That's something you were open and candid about?
Yes.
You understand that regardless of what you say, it doesn't matter as long as it's the truth. Do you understand that?
Yes.
The Commonwealth in no way is asking you to accommodate it or please it in any way. Do you understand that?
Yes.
If there was something that may be perceived by others as adverse to the Commonwealth, you understand we would want you to tell that if it was the truth, don't you?
Sustained.
You understand, well, the Commonwealth has never intimated, suggested, or advised you to say anything other than the truth, have they?
No.
Have you been given any consideration?
See, this is where he's playing little tricks because Commonwealth didn't tell her to do anything. Nobody from the Norfolk County DA's office told her to do anything. The accusation or the implication, not the accusation, but the implication is that her superiors at the Boston Police Department are the ones who told her to change her story. That's the implication, not the Commonwealth. So she could sit there and truthfully say no. Whenever he asks, did the Commonwealth do this? Did the Commonwealth do that? And she can go, no. And she's being truthful. Thank you, Eat Mom Run. Appreciate it.
Consideration or reward because you remedied your memory?
No.
Remedied your memory.
After being
your
shown
memory.
the evidence that you left that day, January 20.
If I'm a juror and I heard the fucking prosecutor refer to that as remedying your memory, I'd be like, this is the shadiest shit I've ever seen in my fucking life, bro. Like, what am I doing here? This is crazy. I see what all the hype is about now. Like, I totally see what all the hype is about. If I'm a juror, I'm going to be like, I could see why this case is getting so much attention. After you remedied your memory. What, dude? What?
29, 2022 at 3:45, and learning that the defendant's car did not get to the Sallyport at 5:30 or so p.m. Is there any way you could have seen Mr. Berkowitz and Mr. Higgins in the Sallyport with the defendant's car that night before you left for work?
There is no way.
Understanding you made a mistake, was the defense receptive to your explanation that you made a mistake?
Objection.
I mean, the polar opposite. There is no way. So what were you on, drugs? I mean, because that was a really specific memory that you told feds with your lawyer present. That is a very specific memory. Like, not only did you say the memory, but you added pretty much your feelings about it. MPK, thank you so much. Appreciate it. What's up, Oasis Cat? You expressed your feelings about it. It was weird. It was a wildly long time they were in there. Brian Higgins, who's a key witness to the crime, I thought it was weird that he was in there with the chief of police for all this time. Oh my gosh. And then, oh, yeah, no way I could have remembered that like that, because I wasn't even there. All right. Okay.
Enough.
Did the defense pressure you when you told them you were going to come into this
Here we
court
go.
and tell the truth about your mistake?
Objection.
No, allow it.
Look. Tell me, Bev, tell me you're dirty without telling me you're fucking dirty. You allowed that. That was an absolutely leading question. That was the epitome of leading questions. Listen to that shit one more time, folks. Listen to that shit one more time.
When you told them you were going to come into this court and tell the truth about your mistake?
Objection.
When you told them you were going to come into this court and tell the truth about your mistake. Like, that's him planting shit in the jury's head. Tell the truth. You're just assuming that she's telling the truth. That's not even your witness. But Bev allows it.
Objection.
No, allow it.
Bev allows it.
Can you rephrase it?
Yes. When you told the defense you had made a mistake about your memory, did they pressure you?
Yes.
Did they pressure you to say something other than the truth?
Yes, they wanted me to repeat a lie at that point.
Like, Bev had to think about it and then go, can you rephrase it? Can you do me a favor, Hank, and rephrase that, please?
And it would have been with malicious intent to repeat it.
Understanding a lawyer has no power to charge with contempt, does that change the reality of whether or not you were threatened? Let me ask it a different way. You were asked questions about whether or not you knew who could take out charges for a crime. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Regardless of whether an attorney has that power, were you threatened that there'd be a charge of perjury if you didn't comply with the defense wishes in this case?
Yes.
And knowing you were going to come into court, given this experience you had with the defense, is that why you felt like they were going to tear you?
A new
Is that
asshole.
the phrase we used?
Yes, because they did not want me to tell the truth. So I told them that knowing they were kind of trying to eat me alive into repeating something that is not the truth.
Rather than to come in here and be attacked, wouldn't it have been easier just to said what you had earlier thought was true?
Objection.
I'm going to allow that.
Wouldn't it be easier just to come in and accommodate them rather than be threatened?
Unreal.
Well, of course.
So why did you come in here?
My entire job revolves around what I say on the stand right now. If I was to lie, I lose my job. I lose everything. I'm here to tell the truth. I cannot lie while sitting on the stand.
That's all accurate except the opposite. Her job, possibly her life, depends on whether or not she lies on the stand. She has to lie on the stand. Because the thing is we all know that whatever she said back to the feds was absolutely true. Because everything else about this case dictates that shit tracks. That Higgins and Berkey were in that Sallyport for a weirdly long time, considering everything that we know about the Sallyport footage, considering everything we know about Berkey, considering everything we know about Higgins, considering everything we know about the lies involving the Sallyport footage, the lies involving the Canton PD footage. All of these things make what she said a lot more believable when it comes to what she said to the feds than what she's saying now. This shit doesn't track. The shit she said to the feds totally fucking does.
Thank you.
One question.
Okay.
Your entire job revolves around what you say on the witness stand. Is
There
that
you
what
go.
just testified to?
Yes.
And if you agreed that what you said to those two law enforcement agents on August 9th, 2023, you would be implicating not one, but two police officers, law enforcement officers, correct? If you agreed with what you said in August of 2023 on this witness stand, you would be implicating two officers, fellow officers, correct?
Now, AJ's in fucking A Few Good Men Tom Cruise mode right now. He's fucking Kathy on fire, right? And he's asking a very simple question. If you were to admit on this stand that the statements that you said to the FBI were true, would that not implicate two law enforcement officers, Brian Higgins and Kenneth Berkowitz, the late Kenneth Berkowitz? Would that not implicate those two officers of the law?
So I'm confused as to what you're asking.
You would
No,
be
you're not.
implicating, if you agreed.
No, you're not.
You have not agreed that that was the truth. You've now indicated that what you told to law enforcement agents in August of 2023 was a lie.
No,
If you agreed with that statement here on the witness stand, you would be implicating two officers as having been in the Sallyport, weirdly, for a wildly long time with the SUV, implicating not one, but two fellow officers, correct? That's what you would be doing.
it's not possible I saw
If you
that.
agreed with me.
It's, yeah, like the only reason Hank objected right there is because she was fucking breaking. That was her breaking. Avoiding the question and going and just telling herself to stick to the story. That's what happened in her head right there. Watch it happen again.
Stand, you would be implicating two officers as having been in the Sallyport, weirdly, for a wildly long time with the SUV, implicating not one, but two fellow officers, correct? That's what you would be doing.
It's not possible I saw
If
that.
you agreed with me, would you be implicating the
It's not possible I saw that. And then objection. Like, Hank, don't underestimate Hank Brennan, dude. I'm trying to tell you. The only thing that makes him seem weak in this whole thing is a big thing, hey, which is he doesn't have a case. But he's got tricks up his sleeve. He's always got tricks. And he's controlling every single one of the witnesses that have anything to do with the implications that Karen Reed is throwing out there, right? So Hank Brennan he's on top of that shit. He can see the witness that is destroying the Commonwealth's case right now. And he can see her breaking down. And he's got to break that momentum. He can't just let Alan Jackson have that momentum with that witness. She goes, blah, 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 avoids the question. That's not what I'm asking you. Stick to the question that I'm asking you. Answer the question. If he has that momentum that he keeps doing, then he's going to break her down. There's more of a chance of having a Perry Mason moment where she goes, or a few good men moment. You're goddamn right, I did. You know what I mean? Brennan is doing everything he can to avoid that from happening, and she's close to it. She's been close to it since she sat on the stand because she didn't want to be there. She's been combative ever since she sat there. So she's real easy to break. I mean, if she's getting upset because if Alan Jackson pronouncing her name wrong gets so under her skin, just the little bit of momentum that Alan Jackson needs would break her. Brennan knows this. Brennan throws he throws some defense up. That's what he does. Objection. Stops the momentum with the objection.
The reputations of two officers.
If I was to lie, then yes.
And your entire job revolves around what you say on that witness stand. That's what you said, correct? That's what you just said,
right.
Officer Dever, correct?
I still don't really understand the question.
You just said, all I'm asking you.
Yeah, this is what they always do. They break down. They go, I don't understand. Could you repeat the question? I don't recall.
Is what you just said. I wrote it down. You just said, my entire job revolves around what I say on the witness stand. Correct?
Yes to that
Thank
question.
you. That's all I have.
That's yeah. Watch her face. Look at her face.
Confused. When you spoke to those agents, you didn't implicate Chief Berkowitz and Mr. Higgins with
When you spoke to those agents,
doing anything criminal, did you?
No, they were friends. That's why Higgins had an office there.
You didn't implicate them ever suggesting they had tampered with evidence, did you?
No,
You never implicated them saying that they had framed anybody, did you?
no.
So when you talked to those agents, did you ever suggest
there it is again.
that Mr. Higgins and Mr. Berkowitz did anything to touch or tamper with the defendant's Lexus at all?
No,
Never.
no.
Is there anybody you're protecting?
I have no one to
Now,
protect.
now you see what Brennan's doing here. Brennan knows that the jury is not buying this bullshit that it couldn't have happened. The jury is already convinced that this is the memory that she had. Why would she tell agents this? So Brennan is trying to get in front of that right now. So Brennan is going, did you see them do anything to the SUV? Did you tell these agents that you saw them do anything to the SUV? That they tried to tamper with evidence in any way? Did you tell them this? Did you tell the agents that you saw them do this? He's already acting as though she did say those things to those agents and meant it. So this is now, again, she did say, yes, that was my memory at the time. And this is exactly how he should approach that. But it's important to realize that the jury fully now sees that as being her memory, and that is what happened. That's totally what happened. Otherwise, he would not bother with the details of, did you see them do so? Did you tell the agents that you saw them do something to the SUV? Tamper with evidence in any way?
Protect.
Do you need to protect anybody?
No.
All right, Officer Dever, you are awesome.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, jurors will take on
See,
recess.
very defensive questions there, because the defense never accused her of protecting anyone. Not once. The defense never accused her of that shit. Hold on, I want to see.
So Dever, you are awesome.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, jurors.
Look at her face. Look at her face. That was my favorite. When I saw that earlier today, I was like, that's my fucking favorite right there, bro. Now, I'm not going to go over, listen, people, I'm not going to go over Dr. Russell's testimony. I feel like I've seen Dr. Russell's testimony 1,000 times already, bro. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like her whole resume takes forever. Like I'm fully confident in her testimony. I'm sure it went absolutely well. As a matter of fact, when she testified live, I took a nap. I took a nap. I love Dr. Russell. I didn't take a nap because I was like, oh God, she's not important. I took a nap because I am that comfortable in her testimony. I'm sure that it went perfectly well. So that's how I feel about that. And then tomorrow, whatever takes place, we will do the same thing. We will go over the recaps. Thank you guys. I think this is working out. I think it's better to do the recaps. I know I've been seeing some of your comments stating that, you know, you miss watching the streams live with me, and that means the world to me. I know there was a lot of you that are totally my McLeans, man. And you, no matter what's going on, no matter what I'm doing, you guys are with me, and I love that shit, and I'm super grateful to you guys for that. But you know, I want to try to think of everyone here, and I want to you know, and I want to give other people an opportunity to come watch as well, you know. So I'm gonna just, for now, I mean, yeah, I mean, I might get a wild hair up my ass and decide to stream a proceeding live. I reserve the right to change my mind at any given time, go live whenever the fuck I feel like it. But at the same time, I am happy doing these recaps. So I'm really glad to hang out with you guys. And I'm really grateful to you guys for hanging out right with me. Yeah, I am absolutely convinced. This was one of the best witnesses for the defense. I truly feel that way. I truly feel that Kelly Dever is easily one of the best witnesses for the defense so far. So guys, I am gonna go ahead and wrap this up. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys for hitting the like. Make sure to do that on your way out, please, because it really helps me out. And make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And if you're new subscribers, make sure to hit the notification bell so you know when I'm going live, because I go live whenever the fuck I feel like it. So just a fair warning, I get a wild hair up my ass and I decide to go live. It happens a lot. So I'm really grateful to you guys. I'm glad to hang out with you guys, and all the support. Thank you guys so much for all the super chats and all the Venmos and whatever, and so on and so forth. It really means the world to me. But guys, yeah, that's gonna be it for me. I love you guys very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.